July 20th, 2026, St. Clair Shores City Council meeting to order. Abby, please call the roll.
Mayor Walby?
Here.
Councilmember Burgess?
Here.
Councilmember Karen?
Here.
Councilmember Frederick?
Present.
Councilmember Rubello?
Present.
Councilmember Rusi?
Here.
Councilmember Vitale?
Here.
A quorum is present.
Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2 is proclamations and presentations. We don't have any. Item 3 is audience participation. You have a 2-minute time limit to speak on an agenda item that's in front of us here. Abby, do we have any?
Yes, we have 2 speakers. The first is Michael Shar, speaking on agenda item 6, A through C. He is a Bruce Township resident.
Okay.
Council members,
Yes.
this evening. I own the home at 21510 Blackburn Street, and I'm here in opposition to the change from R1 single family to B3 general business. Also request for special land use, same property, and approval of the restaurant that's going to be placed up on Harper and on the house that's on Blackburn at 21510 or 500. When I look out the front door, currently I see a colonial home, classic to St. Clair Shores. It will be removed, and what I'll be looking at is a drive-through kiosk with 2 lanes and speakers that will be pointed at my house. The noise is going to be unbearable. The pollution from the vehicles waiting in line, and everything else that goes with that. So I am in opposition to the project. So that would be both. I realize we have 9 members and a majority could rule. Worst case scenario, I would like to see a berm, some arborvitae planted perhaps to take up that space where that house was so that we don't have to look at that. Even perhaps a wall so that would mitigate some of that. But ideally, for a residential area, we don't want to hear that. And I understand the restaurant will be open till 11 p.m., possibly 10 to 11 p.m. And that noise could go and keep kids up in the area and other people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Ann Shar, speaking on agenda items 6A through C. She is a Bruce Township resident.
Yes, so as my husband mentioned, we are owners with our son, Aaron, and his wife, Abby, and he could not be here today. He lost his voice, he's sick, they're both sick. So as co-owners of this home at 21510 Blackburn, we are here to represent their concerns as well. So with item 6A, again, when we bought the place, we had no idea that the house across the street belonged to the business section. We have no problem that there's a business there. We knew that when we purchased the home. But by knocking down the house across the street, you have now removed you will have removed the residential aspect of the home that we purchased. It's going to be just surrounded by commercial property. And, you know, that's not, again, the noise. They have to go to bed early for work. They want to start a family. They don't want to, and we have a Culver's in Washington Township near us, and I've driven past there and rolled down my window when I was at the stop sign. Now, with that particular Culver's, they have the speaker facing Van Dyke. It's on Van Dyke in Washington Township. But in this case, it's not going to be facing Harper, where you already have noise and expect to have noise. It's going to be facing our home. And it doesn't seem right or fair or nice. It's going to be noise, it's going to be pollution, it's going to be traffic, increased traffic on Blackburn. We're concerned about our property value as a result. And my son and my daughter-in-law would really like to stay in St. Clair Shores, but this is making them consider having to move, and we don't want to lose money on a home. So, there you go.
Thank you. Abby, you said 2, right?
Yes, that was all.
Item 4 is request from Rhythm and Jump Dance Academy for Family Booster Club to be recognized as a nonprofit organization, obtain a charitable gaming license. Good evening, how are you?
Good evening, I'm well. How are you?
Very good.
So thank you all for your time. As you stated,
Your name?
I'm Sarah Rose Melvey.
you.
I'm a parent of a young dancer who dances at Rhythm and Jump Dance Academy. For those of you that have children that are involved in competitive sports, you can understand that the bank quickly breaks. And we are so fortunate, we have quite a large studio there, but we also have quite a large competitive team. And that team has been invited to participate in different avenues and trainings and opportunities. And they've also worked so hard, not just on the stage, but off the stage to try and fundraise on their own to get their children to different organizations and trainings and practices and nationals and things like that. So I am here on behalf of the Rhythm and Jump Family Booster Club that we have formed, asking you if you could grant us permission from our lovely city to have a charitable gambling license. We would like to be able to do some other types of fundraising that would better benefit our 70-plus roster of kids. So I come to you asking today if you would please consider that. We would really appreciate it.
Sure. Questions? Ms. Rusi?
Thank you. Well, this is, in order for a nonprofit organization to receive a charitable gaming license from the state, they have to submit a bunch of paperwork showing their 501c3 status or nonprofit status, and including a resolution from a governing body that recognizes them as a nonprofit organization operating within the community, which is why they're here today. It's basically us kind of vouching as a local unit of government for this organization that they are a legitimate organization operating within St. Clair Shores. So that's the kind of the procedural aspect of what we're being asked to do today. So it's not just this that will allow them to do raffles. They need what we do up here as part of a packet to go up to the state for them to make that decision. So you submitted the bylaws, you submitted the proof of your charitable status, you submitted your organizational documents, those type of things. What type of fundraising have you done? And I guess what type of fundraising are you seeking to do? This would be a component of something you need to obtain a license to do a raffle. So is that the type of fundraising you're looking to do?
We are looking at doing a raffle of like various items, such as like a fire pit in the fall, filled with items for like a movie night, that we would raffle off. The Lock St. Clair Fine Art Fair has offered to allow us to be there. We could do our raffle there that weekend, which would be September 19th and 20th. We've also looked into doing like just raffle baskets at our own events. That because it is the Booster Club and we are a nonprofit, we would need that approval to do that. We have a great fundraising committee and they have so many ideas. And I will be honest, I don't know all of them. But they've been working really hard and trying to come up with different avenues where we're not just looking within our own families to help us repeatedly. We would like to show our community that we have this great group of dancers and see what way we can kind of branch out and let those dancers work for it here in our general community.
And, you know, I want to say thank you for doing this the right way, too. I see some places try to do these raffles kind of under the table, and you're taking the steps to do them appropriate to and conforming with state law. So that's a good precedent you're saying for the kids you're helping.
Thank you. This is for our kids and they work really hard. We should show them how to do things the right and appropriate way.
And one of the things I thought was interesting in the bylaws is that the money raised would not be dedicated toward individual dancers.
Correct.
So how would it be allocated then?
Anybody who is a current member during that year of the Booster Club. So legally, we cannot, as a 501c3, we cannot itemize money. So if 5 dancers were to participate in that fundraiser, we can't delegate that those funds as the Booster Club only goes to those 5 dancers. We are a community at our studio. We all work extremely hard. So I don't see just 5 dancers participating in something ever. But it was very important to us that it is an equal, fair share when they participate in these programs. So like a recent fundraiser that we did, we partnered with a garden center, and they said so much of proceeds would go back to the Booster Club, and we delegated that out. So our dancers that were members of Booster Club at that given time, all of their summer intensive program was covered already. So it might not sound like a lot, but a summer intensive can be something like $300, $400.
It all adds up.
It adds up so so quickly, especially if you have a dancer who is taking 10 dances, wearing 10 costumes, going elsewhere for training. It's
Travel expenses, just everything, it adds up. No, like I know some kids who are involved in not only the dance, but also in the, like you mentioned, the competitive sports aspect. And I know it can be very costly, and the families can require this type of help for their kids to be able to participate. I know Rhythm and Jump Academy has been a part of this community for quite some time, even, before the formalized Booster Club organization creation. I will move to approve the resolution.
So by Ms. Rusi, supported by Mr. Frederick. Any other comments? Mr. Rebel?
I want to make a comment because I always make a comment to her. If your mother could see you now and how far you went with all this type of stuff, her mother was a very sweet lady. She'd be very proud of you to be promoting the purpose of, your dance. And you guys do a great job.
Thank you.
And always did. So, to your ma.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. If I may.
Yes.
Ron asked if I would give a little shout out. I actually just left rehearsal for the Miss St. Clair Shores Scholarship Program. Just want to put it out there that the pageant is happening on Saturday at 6 p.m. at Lakeshore High School. We will be crowning our new Miss and Teen. We will be sad to see Janelle and Amelia leave us. We will have another St. Clair Shores resident, Grace, there, who is our current Miss Michigan, so we would love to see all of you come there if you're free on Saturday. Okay?
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Item 5, request to appeal the Water Resources Board denial of case 13-2026 at 33-800 Jefferson for the relocation of existing four-post boat lift to the northern side of the existing dock. Do we have the petitioner here? Yes, sir, please come on up and. Good, how are you?
Good evening.
Just state your name and give us a little overview if you don't mind. Sir, pull that mic down too, so wherever we go. Okay, thank you.
I know, I'm short, right?
Well, I didn't say that. I just said pull the mic down.
My name is Mark Rozicki, and we currently have a boat hoist that's next to our seawall. It's unusable. It's been unusable for 2 years because of all the muck that's packed
Yes.
against the wall. We recently had to hire a barge company to come in and spend $2,000 for them to haul our boat out of the hoist because they had to lower it into the muck. They hooked a crane that was on the barge to the tow hook, and they pulled it out, and now it's in a marina down the street in Harrison Township. So what we'd like to do is move the existing hoist just back further on the dock, out further, deeper in the water, where it's 3 feet at the end of our dock, and our boat can float in 3 feet of water. It can't float in 3 feet of muck.
Yep.
And so we'd like to just take it and the existing and move it back. We got denied because apparently we're only 7 feet from our northern property line.
Yes.
And we need to be 10. We've got a letter from our neighbors that recently purchased the house. It's included in your packet saying
Yes.
they have no objections. There's no neighbor on the other side of us because it's a homeowners association that has access for people across the street.
Yep.
They have the same issue. They have a boat launch there that they haven't been able to use for 2 years either because it's full of stuff. And I don't know if Macomb County talked about doing something eventually, but as far as we know, nobody's going to do anything. I have gotten quotes to dig out the muck, but until more people on the seawall dig it out, there's no point in us digging it out. And every time we have an east wind, it just blows it right back in. And when the wind blows from the west, it just goes over the seawall and it misses all the muck there, so it never gets blown back out into the sea. It's only when we get a really strong north or south wind, which doesn't happen that often. If we got lucky and got a really fierce storm with big waves, it might move it out, but if you stand in my house and look all the way down to Harrison Township in the Bay Area in New Baltimore, almost every house is affected. And there's no boats in the hoist, so there's nobody from this St. Clair Shores area that owns property there that's able to use it or enjoy their property like it should be.
Right.
So we just want to move it down.
Okay.
That's all we're going to do.
Understood. There's a couple questions, so,
Sure.
Mr. Rubello.
I was out at your house a couple days ago.
Right.
It speaks for itself. It's a total mess. Matt, I just sent you a picture, but you can put it up there real quick. Let's just give what this guy's up against.
Yeah. I should have thought of that to take a picture.
Yeah, it says it all. I have no problem with you moving that down so you can use it. It's unusable right now, and it's a.
Do you have other
it's a
questions,
shame.
or maybe I'll come back to you if it takes me?
Mike, no, I don't have any other questions. I'll make a motion right now to just, I'll move to approve your appeal. You have your neighbor didn't care. I know there was 10 feet and 7 feet and a little bit of a distance and so forth.
So Mr. Rubello's
That's
made a
all taken
motion
care
to
of.
I'll support that, to support the appeal, and Mr. Frederick has supported it. Okay, we'll come back to you, Mr. Rubello, after he puts the, up there. Mr. Karen?
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the.
Speaks for itself.
Yeah, the start of the hoist is right there where those two lights.
Yep.
The hoist begins where the two 2x10s are, and all that up into the seawall, I can walk on that. In fact, I go out there and weed whack it regularly so it doesn't grow like it's growing in front of my neighbor's house.
Yep.
But once you get to the mushy part where it's all marsh, that you'll sink quickly into it. And that's why we were able to get our boat out, because once they lowered it into the muck and they attached the crane, they could pull it out.
Understood.
Your boat, here's your dock. Your boat's on the south side. Your wife's boat's on the north side, but
Right.
farther pitched back to the west, and you're just
Right.
bringing it up so you can use it.
Yeah, so we're just gonna move the existing hoist down to the end of the dock across, there's a pontoon hoist there. So they'll be side by side, basically.
Understood. Mr. Karen?
Thank you. Yeah, I don't have any problem with the appeal, because I think another important aspect is that you're keeping the same dock. It's
Right.
not like you're doing a full rebuild to relocate everything.
No,
And
I
that
had to
you're just
do that.
moving one aspect of it
I had to
out.
do that 5 years ago when we had a storm and took the dock out.
Right, yeah, so, because when you look along the shoreline, I would probably say half of the docks that are out there probably don't conform to that ordinance today.
Right.
In that, so whenever it was written, it was just like, right, no consideration was given how many of them were non-conforming to begin with, and when things need to get redone, they would fall into that. But I think that's the very same case of, we had past cases where people have an existing boathouse, that technically is not conforming. If they don't change, like, I can't remember the percentage of what? 60%? They can keep it, right? I think this is the same case. Since you're keeping the same dock and just moving the boat host out, kind of falls in that same category. So it's appropriate to grant the appeal.
Okay, great.
Mr. Vitale?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure who this question should be addressed to. I don't, normally would be Denise, building official, but I guess I'll just say this. I seem to remember not that long ago, maybe a year ago, we had another case in front of us that was almost identical to this, and they had been denied by the Water Resource Board. And so in the reasoning given by the Water Resource Board, it says denied because the new location of the boat lift will not conform to the 10-foot side yard setback requirement. Petitioner may appeal to City Council. Well, isn't that the reason he's in front of the Water Resource Board? So is this something that procedurally they cannot?
Liz?
Okay.
So they're in front of the Water Resource Board to get approval to move it. it is supposed to conform to all of the requirements within the water resources ordinance. So because it doesn't have that minimum 10 feet, procedurally, they're not supposed to approve it.
That, I understand that now, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Although, would they otherwise have the authority? Is it some authority that we restrict them, or is it a state use?
In terms of allowing them
code?
to be
Yeah.
closer, my understanding is that you are the appeals board. So like the zoning board of appeals would be for the zoning ordinance, the water resources ordinance cites you guys as the appeals board.
I
Why,
think we could change it.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
for
could,
sure.
I believe that you could.
could if
I
we-
don't think it has to be 10 feet on
Correct.
each side.
well, so the question that I have, first of all, there's got to be a cost to appear in front of that board.
There is, yes.
How much is the cost, do
Oh,
you
off the
know?
top of my head, I don't remember. I can get that.
Some hundreds of dollars?
Yes, yes,
Is there a cost appear in front of us?
no.
No.
Okay, well, other than I suppose the time issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think the 10 feet was probably done with good intent.
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
So I don't know that I want to just change that. But I hate that we have to take these cases up that seem like slam dunks. But I suppose if they can't make that at their level, although
Right.
if we can change that, maybe we should.
Well, we can evaluate it, but at this
Absolutely.
point, this is where it's at, and they have the right
Yeah,
to appeal.
in
it.
terms of the case in front of us tonight, I have no problem with granting the motion.
Thank you. Ms. Burgess?
I just had one question about it. In the proposed, the homeowner's written variance request says the proposed location would be 7 feet from the north property line, but the council communication says 4 feet setback.
Oh, according to the marine company that's doing it, they said 70 feet, and that's all that's been discussed with me.
I just, it was just,
Yeah, visually, if you looked at it, Dave, you looked at it, Ron, you came out and looked at it, you can't tell if it's 10 feet or 7 feet or 12 feet, you know, it's pretty,
well, given that the adjacent neighbor doesn't have any obligations, the existing lip is just being located because of water conditions, I would refer to this as a hardship, because I live on the water and I know
Oh,
that if I
okay.
couldn't get my boat out, I'd be very upset. So I will be supporting this as well.
okay. May I make a suggestion if you want to change the ordinance? I asked your lawyer this when he brought it up at the Water Resource Board meeting. The ordinance doesn't say how far in the water that requirement goes. So I asked him, so my property line goes to Canada, right? Because that's what you're telling me. I'm talking about 80 feet out, so is my property line 80 feet out? And he goes, well, the ordinance isn't clear.
Right.
Mr. Frederick?
That's the point I was going to bring up, the fact that you're moving it back so far. You're so far from your neighbor's, the water line and the property line. It almost doesn't make any sense. So we should all take a look at this and see how we can fix it, so.
Mr. Vitale?
We might talk about some other ordinance updates tonight. Can I suggest that we write this one down as maybe something else we take a look at?
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, I bet, gray areas are there for a reason usually, but,
Yeah.
come on, common sense says that 80 feet out, I don't own that property, and my neighbor doesn't own their property, probably. If we do, it's awful looking, and I would like to do something with it, but
It was moved by Councilman Rebello and supported by Councilmember Frederick to approve the appeal. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you very much.
7-0. Thank you. Six A is planning case for the rezoning of 24-300 Harper located on the east side of Harper between Blackburn and Downing from B1 Local Business District to B3 General Business District, and 21501 Blackburn located on the north side of Blackburn, approximately 125 feet east of Harper from RA1 Single Family Residential to B3 General Business District. Yep. Who's going to come on up? And then Liz, you can give us a quick overview too. Because this is just the rezoning, right? So why don't you start?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Liz Cotto, City Planner. Before you tonight, you have 3 separate agenda items. The first one is to rezone the property. It is currently zoned B1, which is our lowest classification of commercial, with a portion of it still single-family residential. So the request would be to rezone the entire parcel that's from Downing to Blackburn to B3. The B3 zone allows for a drive-through. However, this is your second step. The second step is that you would need a special land use approval to be able to have a drive-through in the B3 district. So that would be the second approval that you would be hearing tonight. Then the third one is the site plan approval, and that you guys have seen many times what a site plan approval is all about. You would be speaking about the height of the building, the materials that would be used, where it would be located on the property. However, the first two parts, you should be focusing just on the zoning classification for the rezoning, and then the drive-through just as itself, which is admittedly very difficult without discussing the greater part of the business itself. So if you have more questions about any of the procedures or ordinances, I'm happy to answer them, but I can turn it over to the petitioner.
Well, let's start just with the zoning. I mean, I think that's,
Sure.
let's say, do we have questions regarding the zoning? Ms. Burgess?
So we're being asked to change the parcel from the RA1 single-family residence to the B3. So, worst-case scenario, Culver's backs out, doesn't move, this zoning stays.
That is correct.
Just wanted that clarification.
Yes, yes.
Mr. Rebello?
Okay, Liz, as it stands right now, what can go in that spot? Can a 7-Eleven go in there?
It's considered a general retail store, so yes, a 7-Eleven could go in there, a bar could go in there, a doctor's office could go in there, a grocery store could go in there, a tailor, salon. I could keep going.
Okay, so I guess the point of that was, there's other type of very high volume things. If we didn't change the zoning and said, no, it's gonna stay like this, all that type of stuff could go in there.
That's
And some of
correct.
that also makes a lot of noise, right? A lot of
Potentially.
traffic, 7-Elevens and things of that nature.
Bars.
A bar, okay.
Sports
So
bar.
I guess really, that was one of the points. And really, the difference between the B1 and the B3, what is the, the big difference of it?
The intensity of the use, the way that the ordinance describes it is B1, the B1 district, the idea is it's supposed to serve the neighborhood behind it. And the B3 district is supposed to be a quote-unquote regional draw. However, anything that is allowed in the B1 district is allowed in the B3. So as
Okay.
part of that list that I gave you for B1, a restaurant, just a standalone restaurant, is allowed. You can have just a regular restaurant. It's that component of the drive-through,
Much like the Qdoba is a black over.
which is just a restaurant, yes.
Just a
I
restaurant.
believe that is zoned B3 as well.
Okay.
But it is a standalone restaurant.
Yeah. Pizza Hut before.
Okay,
Yeah.
and these are difficult decisions to make because I did hear the Chars, speak and so forth. Read through this quite a bit and read through all the other stuff that appeared. And the Planning Commission okayed this by unanimous vote, 7-0.
That's
Correct.
correct, yes.
Okay. Well, I guess I will approve the rezoning request for 24-300 Harper on the east side of Harper between Blackburn and Downing from B1 Local Business District to B3 General Business District, 21501 Blackburn, parcel number 09-14-27-159-013, located on the north side of Blackburn, approximately 125 feet east of Harper, from RA-1 Single Family Residential to B3 General Business District, represented by VDG Parkview LLC. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions, and I understand it, but
Moved by Mr. Rebellos. Is there a support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Vitale. Mr. Vitale, question?
Liz, Councilman Fredericks and I attended the planning committee meeting when this was discussed. If a new landscape company wanted to open up a new landscape yard, wanted to open up on that same site, they couldn't without a rezoning.
That's correct. Well, yes, without a rezoning, correct.
So we couldn't even have that business that was in there before couldn't even operate there because it was non-conforming.
Correct.
It had been grandfathered in. Everything surrounding that, I believe, is B3. and for quite a ways in each direction, and on both sides of Harper. So if they were to pursue this, if we were to deny it here and the petitioners wanted to pursue it further, their next remedy would be court.
I believe, I would turn that over to Mr. Albright, but I believe they have a certain period of time to appeal to circuit court, the decision. So yes, that could result in a suit.
I'm not an attorney and I don't play one on TV, but I would have to say that since everything surrounding that is B3, it's almost sort of an inverse spot zone to have one that's a B1 and everything, so we're taking the value of that property away from that property owner by keeping it B1, in a sense. I would think that would be the argument they would make, and I don't know how we would defend against that with everything surrounding it being B3. Because that exactly what a spot zoning is, when you change the zoning just for one location.
Correct.
So I'm going to vote in favor of this. I don't think it's legally defensible to keep it at B1.
Ms. Rusi.
Actually, I was going to ask the question that was on the point that was brought up by Councilman Vitale about how was nursery allowed in the B1?
Yes.
And the answer was it wouldn't be, but it was grandfathered in because it predated the zoning.
Correct, yes,
Okay.
yes.
What would be the zoning for a nursery?
Light industrial.
So pretty intensive.
Yeah. The yard, right, north of 11, just south of 12, that is an existing non-conforming use and has continued as such, which is why it's been allowed to be that way.
Okay, thank you.
Motion by Mr. Ribello, supported by Mr. Vitale to move to B3. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed. Thank you. 6B is the planning case request for special land use at 24-3 on Harper, 21501 Blackburn, and for a drive-through restaurant within the B3 General Business District. Yeah, you could still, then we'll bring them up for item.
For the site plan?
Yes,
Sure,
if you don't
no
mind.
problem. So like I said before you now, you have a special land use approval only for allowing a drive-through within the B3 district. So this had to go before the Planning Commission. It was a public hearing, as was the rezoning. So everybody within 500 feet was notified of the hearing that night, a minimum of 15 days before the meeting. A notice was posted in the newspaper as well. And so, there was proper notice given in advance of the meeting.
Questions? Ms. Burgess?
Okay, I read through, I read through this, and I read through all of the people that were, the audience participation during that meeting. And I just want to know if you can walk us through exactly how each one of the concerns that they raised by the neighboring residents has been addressed.
Sure. So some of the items that were of big concern was the buffering, or what was going to be between the building and where people live. So the petitioner voluntarily did 2 additional iterations of the landscaping plan. One, I might be getting this wrong, one in advance of the Planning Commission meeting and one after, or both of them after, I can't quite recall. But the end result is a much more robust landscaping plan with arborvitaes adjacent to the proposed concrete wall, acting as both a sound and a visual buffer. There's additional, I believe, plantings on the southeast side as well. In addition to that, the petitioner spoke to how their operations work, the hours of operations that they would have, that they are a different type of business than your traditional like McDonald's or Burger King, where each menu item is made to order. So there's a little bit of a wait time that occurs. And oftentimes you pull over to the side and you park and you wait for your food to be prepared,
I've had a lot of Culvers that do.
Yeah, probably. So, so there's not as much of, it's not as fast as a turnover. And then other things that I'm sure that you guys are all aware of. One of the big concerns we often hear with drive-throughs is the noise from the announcer, the person who's running the drive-through, right, taking the orders. Most of these places now have like automatic volume control and various different ways that the speakers point so it doesn't go towards people or the residences.
Okay. So is there any other concerns that have been unresolved?
I will say this much. People are going to say there's more traffic. Absolutely. There's always going to be more traffic than what's in a vacant lot, right? And there's going to be more traffic than was probably at Hall's Nursery because Hall's was a seasonal business, right? And Hall's didn't stay open till 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night. So, yes, there's going to be more traffic. Is it going to be so much more traffic that it's going to overrun Harper Avenue and, cause traffic jams? I think it's probably safe to say no. They also took great care to make sure there's no drive approaches onto Blackburn or Downing, so cars can't turn onto the side streets. They're forced back onto the existing drive approach onto Harper, which I think will help with traffic flow, keeping it on to the major commercial thoroughfare as well.
Which that's what Harper's made for.
Right.
All right, thank you, Liz.
Mr. Rubello.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, again, reading all the documents, and we understood there was a handful of people here at the Planning Commission.
Yes.
Again, they approved it 7-0, this portion of it. And I can tell you with the traffic, there was a situation at 10 Mile and Harper with the car wash that I actually voted no on because I thought there was going to be a traffic smear, and I was dead wrong. Okay, because that never did happen. I had this thing in my head. I had anticipated it wouldn't happen here either. Can you just go over, because you addressed really the major part of everything, and that's the noise. And I know Mr. Paluzzi's here in the audience, and I'm sure that if there's issues with the neighbors, he's going to do his best to fix it, make it right, because you run a good operation. And
Well, we got the owner here, too. I mean, the owner's...
Yes,
the
Mr.
owner's here,
Matoy.
too.
Mr. Matoy is the owner of,
Okay.
yeah,
So he's here, too.
yes,
He's
yes.
here, too.
Okay,
He's
great.
the owner
I
of
did not
several-
know.
He's an owner of several of these already.
Culver's is a nice, you guys run a great operation.
He'll be up at the next part.
Okay. So just address the ingress and the egresses of how people coming in and out of Culver's if it goes through.
Sure. So they took great care not to put any driveways onto Blackburn, the side street, or Downing. So if you're going to drive there, you have to come in off of Harper and you have to leave back onto Harper. And they're not even changing where the driveway is or the width of it or anything. It's staying exactly where it is now, and they were able to work with that configuration.
Because even Hall's Nursery dumped out onto Downing. They would use that gate
That's
right there to
correct.
come
There were
in and
drive
out. So
approaches.
that's a positive thing right there. So with that, I will move to approve the request for the special land use at 24300 Harper, 21501 Blackburn, and parcel 09-14-27-159-013 for a drive-through restaurant within the B3 district represented by VDG Parkview LL.
Moved by Mr. Rubello. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Karen. Ms. Rusi.
Thank you. I think some of the points and questions I have are more appropriate for the site plan, which is the next part. But I know you had mentioned in this part that they did submit some revised landscaping plans. Do we have those in the packet?
Yes, the most current version of them is in the packet, yes.
Is what we have?
Yes.
Okay, wanted to confirm that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll save the rest of the questions for the couple minutes later, I guess.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moved by Mr. Rubello, supported by Mr. Karen to approve the special land use at 24300 and 21501 Blackburn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Thank you. 6B passes 7-0. And item C now will be the site plan approval of 24300, 21501 Blackburn, the restaurant with service over a counter and drive-through. Good evening, and state your name and the owner too.
Good evening, Mayor Wabi and members of the council. My name is Joseph Paluzzi. I'm with Veris Development Group. I am the owner and will be the developer of the subject site today. I have with me today, as mentioned, Mr. Eric Matoy, who will be the owner and operator of this restaurant. And I think I can't present and do justice as well as he can. So I'd like him to explain who he is, what he is, and how he became part of the Culver's family and his commitment to his restaurants that he runs. Obviously, and if there's questions for me, I'm here, but I think he says it best. So I'll turn it over to Eric.
Good evening.
Good evening, council members, mayor, and residents. My name's Eric Matoy. As Joe said, I would be the owner and operator of this Culver's here at 24,300 Harper, located where everybody knows Paul's Nursery was, right? Brief introduction about myself. I came from over 20 years in the automotive industry, had 2 engineering degrees. During that time, the corporate world changed. Everything in business changed. I wasn't able to take care of my team the way that I needed to. People who did their best every day through every time, the good times and the bad times. And in a meeting one day, I was told I didn't know how to run a business because I was trying to reward those people that did well. So I decided to start my own business, and it's Culver's Restaurant. And I think most of you are familiar, but anyone who's not familiar, Culver's was started in Sauk City, Wisconsin in 1984 by Craig and Lee Culver. While it's a franchise, each location is independently owned and operated. So in this case, right, it's a small business run by me, my wife, maybe someday my kids. Small businesses make up the backbone of this country's economy, right? Culver's is known for butter burgers made from fresh, never frozen beef, and fresh frozen custard that's made multiple times throughout the day in small batches. We also offer chicken, fish, shrimp, salads, and a lot more. As mentioned earlier, all of our food is made to order. It's not sitting there waiting. When you come, you order it. So if you want your Culver's Deluxe without onions, that's the way we make it. So it does take a little bit longer. So part of the site plan will show you, they have to be able to come in, place their order, pay for it, pull up, and then wait for it to be made, and then we bring it out to their car. So as a result of that, and we'll get to the details in a minute, I just want to share with you why Culver's, right? There's a lot of great restaurants out there, but for my family, and we're a family of 5, no matter what we chose, if it was to eat at home, to go get something, takeout, delivery, dine-in, whatever it may be, somebody was always unhappy. And if you guys have children, you know that when the family's not happy, you're not having a good day either. And frequently, we would eat at Culver's multiple times a week. And so one day, a crazy idea just came up. Why not build one, right? We love to eat there. Was looking for something where I can take care of my team. And so that was a little over 3 years ago I opened my first restaurant. You know, at Culver's, I'm in the people business that happens to serve food. So people are the heart of the business. I firmly believe that if you take care of the team can take care of the guests. And after that, everything else falls in place. So a big part of it is hospitality, and that starts with me. You come into my restaurants, you'll find me, my wife, in the summertime, my kids. We're a part of it. We're there probably more than we should, but that's part of it. But another big part of it for me is the community. You know, not just serving great food in a friendly, clean restaurant, or offering jobs that pay a fair wage, but treating people with respect and appreciation, which these days seems to be declining. In addition to that, last year I helped 40 different community groups with my restaurants. It could be churches, schools, youth groups, food banks, kids sports teams, childhood literacy groups, the list goes on. I've also planted community gardens with neighbors. And finally, I have 3 kids that all play hockey for St. Clair Shores, so go Saints. Now I'd like to explain a little bit with the site plan and the layout. So they have a rendering here of the building. After the planning commission meeting, based on some feedback that we received, we did make substantial changes to the building itself to include more brick and stonework. And we have samples in the back of some of the brick and stone if somebody wants to see it. The longboard siding at the top, we also have samples of that if you want to see it. But we did change all of the EIFS to hardy board. So if you're not familiar with it, we can show you some samples of that as well. It's a very durable material that you order pre-finished to the appropriate color. There's some concerns about keeping it clean regarding fish flies and things like that, so that will help with that. We did add more brick, so everywhere you see the Culver's logo is all brick now. Those were just some of the changes that we made after the planning commission meeting. And do you have can you show the site plan? maybe just zoom in on just the bottom portion. So I know it was stated before, but I just want to reiterate it here. We did go to some pretty big lengths to make sure that all of the traffic doesn't go onto the residential streets. So Hall's Nursery on the north in particular had driveways. We've eliminated all of those. All traffic comes in and out off of Harper through the existing driveway. And then in addition, your ordinances do require on what would be the right side of this page, a masonry wall that's 6 feet tall. That wall is on there. This was the preliminary plan. After the meeting, we did add an additional 68 8-foot-tall arborvitaes along that wall. There's some discussion about that. In the planning commission, they did ask for them spaced every 2 feet. That was when they were smaller. So we're asking, and my landscaper said, if you're planting something that's 8 feet tall, the spread is already big enough that you should not put them any closer than 3 feet. So the updates that are in your packet does show those 8-foot-tall arborvitae, 68 of them every 3 feet along that wall. There is some additional landscaping added around the dumpsters, some on the south, and then as well as around the transformer for the utilities.
Questions? Ms. Rusi?
Thank you. Thank you for presenting this. Do have a couple of questions, though I know there have been a couple of revisions to the landscaping plan, either before and then after, or both after the Plan Commission. Did you have a chance to review the letter that we received from a resident, Erin Shar, in our packet with some concerns about some of the certain types of plants being selected?
So after receiving that letter, before the first meeting, that letter talks a lot about 4 pear trees.
Yes.
Those were substituted in the first revision that you guys even received with a different type of tree.
Because the one I have, and maybe I'm looking at the wrong page, there's a lot of plans in here still do have the aristocrat pear trees.
So I'm looking at, if you have.
I'm looking at this one.
Okay. There's 4 of them in question, and they're replaced with American linden.
Okay, so they have been replaced?
Yep.
Yeah, I know he also brought up, and I think, some good points about winter screening, buffer issues with some of the plant selection. Some of the plants you call into question would be leafless for half of the year. Have you addressed some of those type of concerns with some plant swap outs?
So the ones that were leafless are ones that are decorative trees. They weren't screening trees. The screening was all accomplished.
So the screening is with the arborvitaes and things that would be.
There's a few different varieties, but all of that type, yes.
Okay, so you did review this and you did address some of the concerns with some of the landscaping selections?
I believe that we did, yes.
Okay, yeah. And Liz, Liz is busy. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, if you could see, the one I'm looking at, I'm not sure if it's the most recent one, but this is the one that was in her packet, still has the pear trees in it. The one that comes, L101, might not be the most recent one. Okay, I think this might be, so you remove the aristocrat flower and pears, you put American linden, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, yep, we have that. It wasn't clearly labeled which was the revised one versus the original one versus the second revision.
I'm sorry, that was, no. I don't know about yelled at, but we don't do that. Okay. All right, continue, Ms. Rusi.
Okay, and I know the resident who came up to the podium prior to the meeting mentioned, I know you said there's arborvitaes that are part of the plan now, a berm, a wall, things like that. Is that part of the plan?
So the wall that is planned is the one that's called for by your ordinance.
Okay, so there won't be a wall for headlight screening and things like that?
So there is a wall on the east side, which would be the right side of this property, next to that row of trees. There's not a wall on the south.
Okay.
So the gentleman that was speaking, he lives across the street to the south next to the Cadoba. There is not a wall along that part of the property.
Okay.
There are bushes planted along there, all of which are taller than headlights.
Okay, that will assist with some of the screening issues. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Frederick.
Thanks, Mayor. Eric, welcome. Go Saints. So, one of the questions had to do with the drive-through and the speakers, and it looks like they're not facing directly to the street. It looks like they're on an angle, so they would
That's
be
correct.
actually talking more into where the bulk of the, I guess, the landscaping would be, so that it wouldn't,
Yeah.
shouldn't be affecting too far beyond that.
So there's another part of that consideration too. So, frequently if you go, and I've spent a lot of time observing these because my restaurant in Detroit is right next to a neighborhood as well. It's where there was an old bank from the 40s. But not to go too far down that path, but most of the noise that you hear is the person ordering because the speaker points at the car. So unless it's a very low convertible, the car blocks most of the noise and the person's actually talking to the building. Because I don't know who mentioned it, but there are controls in place of the volume of the speakers. We can't control the volume of the person, but we can
Right.
control the speaker.
Got it. Well, I mean, the point I was making is that they're not facing the street. They're actually more of a,
Correct.
on an angle towards the corner.
One of them, for lane 2 that's the closest, actually points at the wall.
Okay,
And lane 1 is about a 45-degree angle.
right, okay. All right. Well, I guess I appreciate that, and I was at the planning commission meeting, and I appreciated the fact that you guys did take a lot of time with, listening to the residents, and there were some, serious arguments. I know you weren't there that night. Joe, you were there. And I think one of the biggest things you guys did was changing the brick, right? Making sure that whoever's going to be looking at that side of the building, is going to see something nice. And did you guys resolve I know there were some questions about the setback from the roads and all that. Are we in compliance with the driveway then, 60 feet from both center lines of both roads?
Because the driveway is existing, it's going to be considered existing non-conforming, so
Okay.
it can stay where it currently is.
Okay.
If we were to require him to move the driveway, then the county would probably require him to do a decel lane and a lot of significant
okay.
work and changes on that.
I get it. That doesn't help us at
Right,
all in the
right.
city, so, especially during plow season, right?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm pretty satisfied with everything you've done, Eric. That's awesome. And you will have butter burgers at this location, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Mr. Rubello.
Yeah, that was one of the questions. The butter burgers sound good. But you know what? Sometimes I always like to know, why did you choose St. Clair Shores?
That's a great question. And I would put it the other way around, why not? So if you look at it, I mean, I spend a lot of time here anyway. I mean, I have 3 kids that are at the hockey rink pretty much every day of the week. But why not? They're, just like when I chose to build Culver's in the first place, it's because I wanted other options. And those options right now don't exist. And I think that it's a great opportunity.
Do you have the one down on Little Mac in Roseville too?
I do not. So
Okay.
I have one in Washington Township and I have one in Detroit.
Because these are very nice places to go. And I've always enjoyed going to the one on Little Mac, and really, I thank you for choosing St. Clair Shores, because these are nice places. And Liz, it all fits into our master plan and all that, correct? Okay. With that, I will welcome Culver's with open arms. I've always loved the Culver's. And I will move to approve the site plan for 24300 Harper, 21501 Blackburn, and parcel 09-14-27-159-013 with the following conditions. Parking lot plans must include paving and drainage, concrete curbs, parking blocks, compliance with the city's stormwater ordinance, including detention or retention, installation of 8-foot tall arborvitae spaced 3 feet apart along the east property line, and a front setback variance from the ZBA.
Support. Moved by Mr. Rubello, supported by Mr. Karen. Mr. Vitale.
First of all, I want to thank you, Mr. Matoye. You reached out to me personally with a phone call because of some concerns I had with the building materials.
Yep.
the grainy stucco versus what we're gonna have now, which is a clapboard siding type material that really fits in with sort of the nautical theme, and I think it's gonna be easier for you to keep clean as well. And it's just gonna make a better looking restaurant. That's a hole in our own ordinance that I think we need to address. It was never the intent to have EFS the way it is, but, at the Washington Township locations, full brick. There recently was one built in Novi, that's also full brick. And I think St. Clair Shore should have that same quality of construction. And you came through and called me up personally and said, what do we do to make this better? And I very much appreciate that. Everything else I saw at planning, as it was said, there was an effort made to appease a lot of the concerns with landscaping and everything like that. So I'm glad to see all that. Only thing I might say on that is that would he have the flexibility? I am a little concerned about a solid wall of arborvitaes. Just the idea that we seem to have these every 5 years, we get some new kind of species-specific disease that affects boxwoods or, ash emeralds. So would he have the flexibility, if it was decided later, to mix species a little bit? Because I know there's green giant arbs, there's emerald arbs, they're the blue ones. I say spruce, but that sounds like a tree.
Junipers, they're called.
Juniper, that's what I'm trying to think of. Some of these other species, would he be able to intermix some of that? So just in case he wouldn't?
That would be. So I worked at Hall's Nursery. I'm familiar with it. I planted thousands of
Here comes
junipers,
the Hall's commercial.
arborvitaes over the years. I met my wife at Hall's Nursery, so I worked there 40 years ago. I'm very familiar. And I mean, no disrespect, Mr. Vitale, I think that would look good if we put Skyrock junipers and then Niagara arborvitaes and then emerald greens, and then we put the green giants there.
Well, it could look a little more like a natural forest and not a green wall either. But you know what? The motion's written the way it is, and I suppose if you've got the flexibility, I'm sure planning would work with you if you decided for some reason to mix it up a little. But
I mean, the point is to have a nice hedge, right?
yeah, the point is a hedge, sort of a natural-looking barrier. So, and I'll tell you, I've done the same thing on residential properties I've owned, where I just kind of made it look like when you look out the back door, you're looking into a forest, and that's a really nice look. And I think eventually that's kind of going to be what you achieve here. So it's really hard then to fault this. And I know what kind of a business that, the standards that Culver's has for their stores. This is not like just getting a Burger King or something thrown in here. This is a top-tier, quick-service restaurant. And even the one in Roseville now, that's got to be almost 20 years old.
That's correct.
And it still looks good, and the food quality is still good. So, I am going to be a yes on this, and look forward to Butterburger myself, or actually don't sleep on the Reuben that they have on the menu, because that's actually really good.
Keep the gluten-free.
The fish is good too, so.
May I just say one thing?
Yes, Mr.
This is
Rebel.
a good, I can't let this comedic moment pass. Chris, ask him if he's ever planted bushes or trees in the wrong yard.
I have. I ripped out bushes at the wrong yard. And it's just part of the job. You're going to make the area nice too, between the sidewalk and the street.
That's correct.
You
Yep.
improve that. I mean, it's kind of nice, and keep the
That's
benches
correct.
or something. But you great.
And not just do that to make it look nicer, but also then maintain it and irrigate it too.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
So it's been moved by Mr. Rebello, I won't read it, moved by Mr. Rebello, supported by Mr. Karen to approve the site plan at 24,300 Harper and 21501 Blackburn, includes the paving, the drainage, and the curbs, and the parking blocks, compliance with the stormwater ordinance, attention, installation of the 8-foot tall arborvitae, spaced 3 feet apart on the property line, and front side back variance from the ZBA. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 7-0. It passes. Thank you. Could you give us timing?
There's a lot of factors that go into it, so I mean.
I know, but just
They'll have to go to the ZBA.
Yes.
Right, so once we're through all of those things, the biggest holdup might actually be DTE. because there are some utilities that need to be relocated.
Oh, no.
And
Oh, boy.
we don't have a timeline for those in my
Okay.
past projects, because I just finished a project with Joe, so he owns the land for my Detroit restaurant as well. But the biggest holdup was DTU there as well, so.
Do they go up quick when you get it, though? I mean.
Yes, so typically, once I start, 4 months or less and we're done.
Okay, so it's rather quick after it. Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you for coming to St. Clair Shores, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7 is request for approval of a resolution authorizing a 5-year permit in the Macomb County Road Commission. Mr. Babcock, DPW Director.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Excuse me. This is a routine item. Every 5 years, we have to apply for a permit through Macomb County Department of Roads for maintenance that we have to do, mainly emergency work. If we have to dig up, in the right-of-way of Harper, 10 Mile, 12 Mile, any of those Harper County roads. So we're requesting approval of a resolution to apply for that permit.
Ms. Rusi.
Thank you. Like you said, this is very pro forma every 5 years.
Yes.
I assume this is similar or the same to what we did 5 years ago. It's been reviewed by the city attorney's office and signed off on.
Yes, and what we just have to update the names, as employees
Right.
of the city change and our consultants, we've updated that list.
I would imagine, given that we would be updating that potentially when they do change throughout the 5-year term, correct?
Yep.
So, okay. I know that the county had sent the letter dated February 4th, 2026. It's now July 20th, 2026. I guess, they were notifying us we don't have, that our current one has expired. We don't have one on file. Why did it take so many months for it to come to us, just if it's pro forma?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, if this is something every 5 years, perhaps we should make sure we keep on this then, if it's so important.
Sure.
Okay, and don't let it lapse. Okay, move to approve.
Support.
Moved by Ms. Rusi, supported by Ms. Burgess. Mr. Vitale.
Yeah, Brian, last spring, I called in or emailed in a tire-killing pothole right in front of Beyond Juice near Bayview. So this is basically the authorization for DPW to go out and fix that instead of having to wait for the county.
Sure, it'd be part of it.
Okay, so
mean,
that's how
it's-
it,
the
that's a
county's supposed to be
practical
fixing it, but, yeah.
application of what we're approving tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 8 is consideration of the purchase of 22025 Local. Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As council's aware, the city has, as part of a long-term development strategy, purchased several properties along the section of Local between Granimac and Harper. Included in your packet and on the screen now is a quick overview of the properties already acquired by this city of St. Clair Shores. Recently, we were informed that another property opportunity was going to be coming available, and we worked through the city attorney's office in order to contact the wholesaler, have them represent the city's interest in negotiating earnest monies, and then those earnest monies would hold the property, keep them an individual from trying to sell it to any other individuals until city council had an opportunity to discuss this in a public setting, the potential purchase. The price proposed is $67,500. It does have an assessed property value of $85,000. There is a structure on the property that essentially has negative value as it needs to be torn down. It's mostly been gutted. There's no interior walls. The code enforcement and our police department have both been apprised of illicit activities that has happened there in the past. Those properties obviously no longer are happening, but it is just an empty shell, would need to be demoed, so that is value that pulls away from the total value of the property there. So that's how we go from 85 to about 67 or so.
Questions, Mr. Karen?
Thank you. So first, do we have an estimate what demo cost is going to be?
Only an estimate, $10,000 to $12,000.
Okay. And what is the funding source for the purchase? And the demo cost?
This would be general fund balance.
Fund balance or out of general government contingency?
We don't have, obviously, a
We're
line item
beginning
for
of the
this, so
fiscal
it would
year,
be
so
a
we
budget.
shouldn't have blown through the contingency already.
Well, we don't have a contingency already, but it was not one of the known knowns, so, as I say. So it would be out of contingencies, but it would probably be wise to consider a budget amendment at some point in the fiscal year that would pull from fund balance,
If we need it.
if we need it.
So initial direction is the 250,000 we have in contingency in general government?
Yes, sir.
To pull it out of there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ms. Burgess?
All right, Mr. Karen already had one of my things about the purchase price, including demolition. Has there been any environmental stuff done? Is there any asbestos or anything like that? Does it need to be abated?
None of that. We'd have to do that in the course of the investigating for demolition costs. So none of that has happened up to this point.
All right, so looking at the properties that we already own, can you explain how the acquisition of this property fits into the ultimate redevelopment vision? Are we actively working towards assembling, adding additional parcels there? Do we have a timeline or a concept of what we eventually hope to see developed there?
I do know this has been discussed far longer than I've been a part of the team here. I think the long-term strategy that's been discussed in the past is condominiums that could be built along that space. They wouldn't necessarily be able to be one contiguous parcel, just because the way Ridgeway and Lockle are divided up and parceled out. But we would be looking at bundling these for one single development, even if it isn't contiguous. And again, condos have been discussed in the past.
And to piggyback off this, as Matt had mentioned, this predates both of us. I think this goes back to our first original purchases almost like 15 years ago.
I was going to say 15 or 20 years.
More
We've been
than
trying to
that.
assemble property here and try to.
And as you can see, many of these parcels have been purchased in the past. We've been holding, we've been kind of sitting on them. Some of the properties there are just vacant backyards that could be approached to the homeowners to say, hey, can we kind of start to combine some of our parcels? But you do also have some areas where the houses on Ridgeway do sit further back to where it would be impossible to actually make a continuous parcel.
I drove there today.
And then you also have a lot of backyards that are being utilized all the way back. So there are some areas that will be hard, as Matt mentioned. This will probably be a long-term vision, as it has been for council for the last 15 to 20 years. So when we were brought notice of this property, it was, do we want to continue this process? That's why we're bringing this up to council. If council wants to continue this process and continue bridging that gap, this is a parcel that met that goal that council had started 15 to 20 years ago. Maybe that's not the goal anymore, but we didn't want to miss out on the opportunity to purchase this property. And I do want to make sure I mention as well, as Matt said, this has been on our code enforcement issue and also a police issue. And police have been out there numerous times obtaining this parcel and getting rid of also a huge eyesore in that entire area. It does also beautify the entire area.
Thank you.
Mr. Vitale?
Yeah, this is something that I've been aware of this since I used to pedal my bike back there as a kid. At that time, there were numerous ramshackle homes back there that the city has in one way or another either acquired as a trade for demo or something like that. So this has been kind of a long-term strategy. I would say this particular property, which would be at the far right-hand end of the screen there, is a third of an acre. It could even be developed on its own, but I would say that that's probably one of the most important properties that could be gathered and bundled, because that would essentially be the entrance to any development that were to occur there. So if that property were just to go on the open market and somebody were just to put a single-family home there or something like that, which I'd have to say is pretty unlikely because there's no street. I don't even know what there is in terms of infrastructure under there, but I would say not much. So I would say that's unlikely. It's going to take a developer to come in there and really make the most of this, and we already own all these other properties. And I'm fine with bundling and selling them, but we should acquire this one because it's kind of a keystone for the development. And I don't even know if condos are necessarily what should go there. I mean, there's some woods areas there that it could maybe even become something. We're always asked for nature. In the city, we have no other opportunity for it. So I would be in favor of this. I think from my own knowledge of real estate investment, I think the price is fair. I think there's not much to that structure. So it's really just a matter of putting most of it in a dumpster. The asbestos and lead abatement inspections are on any demo. I mean, you could tear down a house that was built 5 years ago and you still have to do a lot of those same certifications. So it's just part of the cost of demo. So.
Okay, motion be in order.
Move to approve.
Support.
Moved by Mr. Frederick, supported by Ms. Burgess. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
No.
No, 6-1 it passes. Thank you. Item 9, bids, contracts, purchase orders. 9A, request to approve the overdrive purchase order for the downloadable digital media services. Library Director Stephanie Fair.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here on 2 routine items that I come every year for. The first one, excuse me, like the mayor said, was to subscribe and pay for our overdrive digital services that provides residents with 24/7 access to ebooks, audiobooks, and digital magazines. Usage for this continues to grow. It went up 19% just over this past year. Last year's line item budget was $30,000 due to renovations, and as we are soon to be out of those renovations, we wanted to put the budget line back to the $20,000 that we've had for the last few years for that service. So, excuse me, this year's budget impact would be the $20,000.
Ms. Russo?
Thank you. How'd you determine that amount? I guess, are we charged per use? Are we charged per number of residents? How are we, how is that amount ascertained by the overdrive company?
Sure. So it's a content-based. So there's a librarian that has been doing this for quite a while, since at least 2016. And she goes through and she sees the requests and she determines what she feels like the residents would want to read. So she goes through and she purchases different items. There's different ways to do it. Some have content as far as you have 100 people that can check it out. Once those 100 people are done checking it out, the item is no longer available. We'd have to repurchase the item. There's ones that are newer where you would have 100 users and it's all available all at once. Again, once those 100 users use that, no matter even if it's one day, then that item could be removed. It really depends on what Overdrive and the publishers allow the content to be purchased as. So each of those purchases are towards that $20,000. So it's not necessarily that we say, here's $20,000, give us what you have. They're each tailored to what we feel like the residents would want to read.
Okay, and if you know something is particularly successful that year or popular that year, that could be changed during the year and more purchases can be made for that particular item to allow additional access, correct?
Correct. So even if we have a purchase, let's say today, and 3 days from now, the hold list becomes 100 residents, we'd be able to make that purchase again in 3 days, and then that content in that book or audiobook or magazine or whatever it may be would be available to the residents that are on that hold list. One of the nice things about Overdrive and being part of the cooperative with this is that we also are adding more library cooperatives in the state of Michigan, so residents are having more access to items than they ever have before. I think we have about 10 other cooperatives, so they're having access to millions upon millions of different items. So it's a great resource.
I said, this is an amazing resource. I've used it myself, and just the scope of magazines and ebooks and audiobooks and everything available, just 24/7, and at the ready immediately. It's pretty cool. So I would move to approve.
Thank you.
Moved by Ms. Rusi, supported by Ms. Burgess. Mr. Rubello. You got a good smell out of him. Okay, and I have talked with you about this before. I just sort of lost track of where we were at with this. Is this the part where we can suggest about
different programs that we can get in the library, like if we can get into the National Archives, Flag 3, and really publications and newspapers across the country.
So this would be different. This deals like specifically with the ebooks, the audiobooks, magazines. That's their content there.
Okay.
When it comes to newspapers, you would have some access that we do have online, but also through the state, through the Library of Michigan. They give you access to newspapers all over the place. So if that's something you're interested in, I'd be happy to show you how to do that, but it would be different.
Okay, so that's nothing that somebody could come to the library and look up their, their family history or anything along that lines?
So we do have those databases, but it doesn't involve Overdrive. So we do have Ancestry Tree. So
Things
that
like
would
that.
be, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, moved by Ms. Rusi, supported by Ms. Burgess to approve the amount of $20,000 for fiscal year 2027. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. B is request to approve the Suburban Library Cooperative Purchase Order for the automated system services.
Okay, so for this one, another routine item. This is part of the cooperative that helps service many behind-the-scenes of the library. So one, if you have ever checked out an item or placed an item on hold, you have used part of this Polaris service. It allows us to work within the cooperative, again, for those looking for physical materials. So if you place a hold and it came from another library, it is due to this particular system that we have here. It helps for acquisitions, training, support. It's how you run your whole online catalog. Thankfully, we don't have a card catalog. So this is what allows the library to do that. With that being said, the budget impact for this year is $80,068.06.
And,
Mr.
yep.
Lent.
And there was a new form laid at your desk. Thanks, Councilwoman Rusi, for finding a mistake, and I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Move to approve.
Yep, support.
Moved by Mr. Frederick, supported by Ms. Rusi. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Although I did like the card catalog. I actually missed the card catalog, pulling that thing out.
Well, if you do want to see one, there is one in my office. You're always welcome to come by. There's a small portion of it, and
the
I'm very
museum
grateful.
You saved it?
I'm assuming Rosemary
Rosemary had to
obviously
save it,
saved it,
yeah.
and she let me
Alright.
keep it. So it does have a distinct smell to it when you do. I open it every once in a while,
Yeah,
so.
don't throw it out.
Yeah, and I won't. No, thank you.
Thank you. Item C is request to award the contract for grass cutting services.
The contract for the grass cutting services with Excel expired on June 30th, 2026. A bid to combining grass cutting services and cleanup services was released, requesting pricing for the 2027 fiscal year. All the packet information is in 9D because it was the exact same information because the bid was together. Excel was listed as the cheapest, and we're recommending going with Excel again as the lowest bid.
Mr. Rubello.
I never hear really, we don't have any problems with Excel, do we? They sort of go out there and do their job and.
Yeah, those are the type of contractors we like.
Okay, I'll move to award the contract for 2026 through 2029 mowing weed control services to Excel Landscaping.
Support.
Moved by Mr. Rubello, supported by Mr. Karen. Ms. Rusi.
Thank you. It says award the contract. We don't have a blanket PO for this item, or are we also awarding the blanket PO for this year? The POs, we have a PO for 9D, but not 9C.
Yes, I need to, I'll put that on the next agenda item, or the next agenda underneath consent.
Okay, so this is just the contract for
Yes.
the multi-year contract. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Item D is request to award the contract for cleanup services.
Just as 9C, this bid was put out. Excel was the previous vendor, and Excel came in as the lowest vendor as well. The total of $48,000 was approved for the 2027 budget year for code enforcement cleanup services.
Mr. Vitale.
Just one thing I want to point out for people at home that aren't looking at our bid packet. There were 5 bids received, Excel was the lowest. They were the lowest by a huge margin, especially when you got into 28, 29 pricing. So just so people know, some of the other companies that bid, what the first was called Cleaning Up Detroit City LLC, and Net Solutions, Tone Setter Services, and Ultimate Lawn Service. The last three that I mentioned were more than double the bid from Excel. The only one that was even close was Cleaning Up Detroit City LLC. But even that was a solid amount higher than Excel, just so people at home know. That's all. I guess I make a motion.
Okay.
For 9D, approve the contract.
Support. Moved by Mr. Vitale, supported by Mr. Carey. Ms. Rusi?
Thank you. Are we also approving the blanket PO for this item? It's in the packet.
This one's in the packet, so yes, please.
So contract and the blanket
Blanket
PO.
purchase order.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is the motion amended for that?
Mr. Vitale, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And supported by Mr. Carey. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Good thing. 9E is request to approve the agreement and resolution for Jefferson Levin Mountain Masonic Concrete Repair Project. Mr. Babcock?
Good evening again. This item is for a concrete pavement repair project on Jefferson Avenue between 11 Mile and Masonic. We had applied for this a couple of years ago to get state funding to help us assist us in paving this road. We were successful in that for, it would have been the 2027 construction season. Last winter, through the, freeze and thaw cycles, Jefferson just fell apart on us. And we quickly saw that, we can't wait 2 years to do this project. So thank you to Mike, Freckleton, Denise Pike, AEW. The whole team worked frantically this spring trying to get this project advanced constructed is what it's called. And they were able to get that approved at a real fast pace through the state, which is a difficult process. So thank you to everyone involved. What happens is we will construct this project this fall, hopefully as close to Labor Day, maybe even before then, start as possible. And we'll be responsible for the cost of the project up front. We will get reimbursed as the state's next fiscal year starts. So this is a request to approve the project and a resolution for that work.
Mr. Frederick?
Thanks, Mayor. You're going to make a lot of people really happy, because I know we all get calls for Jefferson from.
Well, until it's done.
Yeah, well, this is true. This is true. There'll be some upset people during the construction, but.
Maybe no more happy than my employees, because they were out there cold patching every other day.
I'm sure you guys are getting.
It's dangerous.
It is, absolutely. So I just want to make sure, are we doing any infrastructure at all underneath this, or just the cement?
Just the cement. And that was a big stipulation to advance and construct it. If we went outside of the curbs or had to go underground, but everything there is in good shape. The infrastructure is in good shape. We've been keeping an eye on the sewers, the water main's in good shape, so.
Good.
Yeah.
And the last thing I just want to say is, we're paying 18 cents on the dollar to get this redone. So
Yes, our share is 18%.
That's a great deal. Once again, a fabulous deal.
And we moved it forward. I mean, that was good.
Yeah, and pulling it a whole year ahead.
Yes.
So, and so we'll get reimbursed in October when their fiscal year starts? State?
I believe so. I believe that's when it
Yeah,
does
it
start.
won't be a little bit later, but we'll put the request in.
Okay.
They really, the county pays pretty well. They're pretty quick.
All right. Excellent, nice job.
Mr. Carey?
Thank you. Yeah, in terms of this is the typical partnership we have with the state. We've done Masonic this way a couple years ago, right? And I think it's unfortunate. We used to have like one of these projects like every year.
That's what we try for, yeah.
Right, but more recent budget cycles with state funding of these type of projects, it's been like every other year we've been getting this. So it's kind of like our next allotment is going to be this part of the road. And definitely needs a lot of the work. We basically had the experimental process back in 2018 that tried and worked for a while, and then we just found this last winter, it just basically just all fell apart and you guys had to do a lot of cold patching along there. So this is definitely well needed along that stretch. And in terms of, there will be, I think AEW is still administering, even though it's a state project, AEW is administering it, correct?
Correct.
So we'll still have both lanes of traffic open. There may be a lane shut down on either side as they're doing the sectional replacement, like they've done on other roads,
Yeah.
right? But we're going to maintain traffic going both ways.
Correct.
And keep an eye out for if people's driveways are blocked, to make sure they're being accommodated for. You know, this is something that we've done on a regular basis on many roads.
Yep.
So, okay, thank you.
Mr. Rubello?
Yeah, John just asked a lot of the questions. But, you know, you still get these people that, you know, I guess rightfully so, they're going to have complaints that we're doing too much construction work. I've heard some of that stuff on Facebook. But this stuff has to get done.
Yep.
And, Ron, did you say 18 cents on a dollar?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
So is there any sort of, I don't know, like an outline or a plan of what we might be able to expect? Because we did talk about, I don't know if it was the last council meeting, about any type of interference at 11 Mile Road because of the construction that's going on down farther south on Jefferson. So if you can clue us to any type of plan you might have or an outline of, you know, how this is going to be affecting
And
the
I
people.
would just say, I'm not sure he has that totally yet, but I think there is positive that AEW's got both of them and can kind of work together in
yep.
conjunction with the project here and understanding that on top of it, even 11 Mile Road where they might, right, they're coming down 11 Mile, that's another part of a different project, but trying to coordinate it all together. But again, I mean, as Mr. Babcock said, I mean, this was going to be next year. It blew apart. So we had to do it this year. So, I mean, we would have done it next year, but we didn't, truthfully, I think we didn't have a choice the way how bad it really was. But to answer your question, I think with AEW doing both, I think that it'll assist and try to do that. But we can't kid ourselves. It'll still be, you know, it'll be a little painful.
These are like
it's just the way it is.
Yeah, these are like these, you know, darn if we do and darn if we don't type of things. And unfortunately, everybody's not going to be pleased when they have construction. And some like it because they're going to be, as I think Mr. Vitale said, a tire asteroid killer or whatever you call it.
And it may be a great time for this project, too. I mean, there's already a lot of people that avoid Jefferson as a whole, so, you know, it might help the contract to get it done faster, that a lot of the traffic's already avoiding Jefferson.
Is there a motion?
No, there's not.
Okay, I would approve the resolution of the MDOT contract number 26-5230, authorize the city manager to sign and authorize an advance construct deposit payment of $500,000 to MDOT.
Support. Supported by Mr. Rubello, supported by Mr. Karen. Mr. Vitale?
Yeah, again, I want to just echo the thanks for staff to pulling this forward and getting it done. I think council had that direction and they executed it well because, man, I never saw a road fall apart that fast. Yeah. Went from pretty good to all of a sudden, wow.
Bad.
So I do appreciate your work pulling that forward a year. I'll point out again, everybody's mentioned 18 cents on the dollar. The city's into this for $485,000. The state's in for 2.6 million. And just, we'll take one more additional opportunity to mention that one of the reasons we're down to one direction from 11 Mile south to 10 Mile is just because the depth required for that infrastructure replacement. It's just not safe to have both lanes of traffic on there. You could risk a cave-in or something like that. In this instance, this is just surface level repairs, so we won't get down to that kind of situation here. So.
Thank you. Moved by Mr. Rebel, supported by Mr. Karen to approve the resolution for MDOT contract 26-5230, authorizing the city manager to sign and authorize the advance construct deposit of $500,000 to MDOT. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, 7-0. Thank you, Mr. Babcock. Oh, you're not done. You have to come back. F is request to approve Barracuda backup renewal. Is that you, Mr. Lent?
That is. So the Barracuda backup server 890 is an appliance that needs to be renewed so that the city continue to back up its data. The Barracuda backup server has performed backup seamlessly with minimal supervision. It does the recovery of data from all single documents all the way to our large folders. The system provides backup and protection for the entire city's server systems and its IT environment. Part of the Barracuda does do live virus updates on the hourly update. As we all know, in the government world, viruses and all that can take us down. There's always the threat. This is one of our largest protectors of some of the viruses and our cloud backup for our internal servers.
Questions? Move to approve.
Support.
Moved by Mr. Karen, supported by Mr. Frederick. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed. 9G, which is request approval of a contract modification with Dukes for storm sewer cleaning.
Good evening again. This is my last item. Years ago, the city received, it was called a SAW grant through the state, and we used it to start looking at our stormwater infrastructure in the city, which we hadn't really done prior to that grant program. We always focus on sanitary sewers, because that's what the basements are hooked up to. But we started looking at the storm sewers, and we found some problem streets. The storm sewers are usually shallower in depth than the sanitary sewers, so they're more susceptible to tree roots, things like that. They also have open catch basins. They take in debris. So we found some problems. Now we're ready to address them. Council has been supportive and put in budget to start digging up storm sewers, lining storm sewers, whatever we need to do to make these storm sewers flow better and prevent, the surface flooding on the streets. So we do have a project currently. We're working with Dukes to televise and clean sanitary sewers. And this is a request to do a contract modification to add in some storm sewer work to their existing contract so that they can get these storm sewers looked at, and then we can get the appropriate designs and plans in place to do the actual construction.
Questions? Mr. Frederick?
Thanks, Mayor. So, as I'm reading through this, I was very impressed that they came in $100,000 under budget on the sanitary.
Yeah.
So adding this is almost like a freebie almost.
Yeah.
So I would move to approve.
Support.
Moved by Mr. Frederick, supported by Ms. Burgess. Ms. Rusi?
I was going to make the same point Councilman Frederick made about how they had come in way under on their current work we have with them, and this is also being posited as emergency response, correct?
Yeah.
So this is something we really don't have the luxury of, if we wanted to, of being able to bid this out and get new bids. This is something we want to do now, correct?
Yeah, because, we want to get the shovel in the ground and start making these repairs, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All opposed. Thank you. Item 10 is consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Support.
Moved by Mr. Karen, supported by Mr. Frederick. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed. Item 11, Mr. Lent, updates and follow-ups from prior council meeting.
Mr. Vitale requested an evaluation of the trees at Ardmore Park. The trees in Ardmore Park were evaluated and trimmed or removed as needed on Wednesday, June 24th. Mr. Karen noted that this is the third consecutive year that part-time wage adjustments have been needed for the boating and pool. Administration has spoken with the aquatic supervisor regarding the importance of trying to stay within the budget amount. We have identified a few areas of concern that contributed to these increases, and we have put new procedures in place to curb these actions. Mr. Vitale requested information regarding the amount the city has spent on translation services. We do have the attached document in here on how much we have spent through the court on translation services. It did not have June in there, but that note was in there from the court administrator. Mr. Vitale inquired about the electrical issues affecting Lutheran Church and asked whether the city has contacted DTE for an update. The electrical failure occurred at DTE's Abbott substation. DTE has parts but needs an MDOT permit. They are anticipating a permit next week, and expectations for repairs and removal of the generators were scheduled to be done by July 15th. I will find out if that was done and send an email out to everybody, letting them know if those have been removed before today's meeting. Mr. Vitale asked whether additional orange and black signage is needed on Lakeland Street and suggested placing signs in advance of the affected area to provide drivers with additional notice. The numerous signs have been erected notifying the motorists of construction and road closures. Mr. Rebello, I'm sorry, yep.
Just one item on that. I will say that as I left for the council meeting today, police officer also left the street and turned his lights on and pulled somebody over for an illegal left. So that enforcement is definitely being done.
Mr. Rebello relayed a request from residents on Pleasant Street for a digital speed display sign. Pleasant Street has been added to the radar sign list. And then Mr. Rebello suggested installing a warning sign at Greater Mack Avenue and Kramer Street, indicating that Kramer Street is a no outlet street. Jefferson and Kramer is an open intersection, so no sign is needed. And that is it.
All right, thank you. Item 12 is comments by individual council members. Mr. Karen.
Thank you. First, just want to thank Greta Rebello. Last July 8th, she coordinated with the Daughters of the American Revolution the reading of the Declaration of Independence that we all participated in, as well as state and county officials. And I know it took a lot of coordination for her to get all these people lined up, get them what they're going to read, get all the information out. I don't think she understood what it took to get all of us just to sit down in our seats. Especially, Executive Hackle. He's one of the last people to sit down, because he's always got to be talking to somebody around there. So, but it was a great event. I think great historical rendition. Grateful for everyone that participated, and that she jumped on the idea to help celebrate the 250th anniversary of our country by reading the Declaration, by all of us reading the Declaration of Independence prior to the concert that Wednesday night. So, great job to Greta. Appreciate all the hard work that she put into that. Definitely well-deserved praise for all that work that she did. The only other issue I got, I thought when we changed the funding mechanism, we wouldn't have to talk sidewalks anymore. But actually, former Mayor Heisen contacted me a week ago. The markings that were down St. Joan Street, which is the start of District 2. I know there's some Facebook posts on it as well. Finally, once the air quality, and it wasn't 100 degrees out, finally got over there to take a look. But it looks like basically, it's like 80% overmarked. And so I already talked to John Hennessy this morning about it. He is going to, Hennessy Engineering is administrating the program. He did say they're the same people that were marking as they did last year, and I don't recall us really having any problems last year, but definitely this year, the few streets they did, definitely back to overmarking. I think one of the problems they had were if it's just exposed aggregate, meaning it's the concrete from 80 years ago that still is great and awesome and flat and there, that doesn't need to get replaced.
Yep.
And that. So he is going to follow up and get back with me later this week, but I just want to put that on administration's radar to watch out for that. One of the positive things I did see is that the grinding operation has started.
Yep.
And the ones that were done already on St. Joan look to be very nice, professional, clean, like there's no residue left behind. So I think that company did a great job, but we definitely got to get ahead of, because even though the residents aren't paying for it, it's still coming out of the local road fund.
Yep.
And so we still got to keep tabs on that cost going forward. So I'll look forward to getting the response from Mr. Hennessy later this week on what happened, and may require a site visit to just kind of walk through what our expectations are here in the near future before any of the other areas get marked in that district. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Frederick.
Thanks, Mayor. So I've got a couple things from, Henry wanted us to mention that this Wednesday night is Coney for Kids, the annual Coney for Kids Night, where they raise money for the Special Needs Playground Program, or I should say the Adaptive Needs Program. And it's going to be before the Kathleen Murray and the Groove Council, and that again is Wednesday, July 22nd, starting at 4:30 for the Conies, and then music by the lake to follow. This Sunday in the downtown area from 9 to 2 is the Sunday Market, and there'll be special entertainment by Shoreline Sweet Adelines. And then next Monday night, July 27th, the chamber concert at Wabi Park will be the Belgian American Association Band at 7 p.m. That is always a great night. They draw a lot of people. You heard Sarah Rose Melby mention the pageant on Saturday at Lakeshore at 6 o'clock. And then We did, Candace and I and the city manager this morning walk through the library just to take a look and see how the progress was going. And it looks awesome, but we did find out that it's going to take just a little longer than we thought to get finished. So we've been telling people August. I think we got to start telling people September now. And just because we've got some, just a couple things that have to get fixed. And but I'm going to tell you, it's going to be worth the wait. Wait till you see it. It's awesome. And then
And just to piggyback that, I mean,
Yeah.
I think the police department's somewhere in that timeframe too. So I think,
Exactly.
I can't say exactly, but it's in that September timeframe, so both of them coming, so.
That'll be great. That'll be great. And then I just want to mention that yesterday we had a great Pizza Palooza over at Blossom Heath Park, and tons of people showed up to raise some money for a couple of kids that need the help medically. And then in addition to that, we had about 13 or 14 vendors, which were pizza places in St. Clair Shores donating pizza so you could taste it and then vote. So we appreciate all of those folks coming in, and that was through the Optimist Club. So much appreciated the hard work that went into that. And then I also wanted to mention, since we haven't been here since the Monster Quest, the bass fishing tournament,
Thank you.
did a nice job down on at the foot of 9 Mile, and they had 75 boats that paid, and another 6, and this is cool, that had yearly passes. So we know those people are coming back and back and back, and hopefully spending some money down there at the restaurants and the gas stations and the bait shop and all of that. So I have a check here, and I'm reluctant to give it to Dustin, or should I?
No, you give it to me, not Matt.
All right. So here's a check for the boat launches. And then if anybody's interested in more information on that, we'll be coming to one of the TIFA meetings to give you a complete,
Fantastic, thank you.
a complete download. So is there not one in August?
There's not. I believe it's September. You're asking me the top of my head, but it could be September 17th. I think it's something like that, I believe.
All right, I'll get with you after, make sure we can
Yes,
get on
but
the
it is
agenda.
not, it's September.
Okay. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Vitale.
Yeah, I'm going to start out with a couple thank yous too. I also want to thank Greta Rubello, who's married to one of our council members here.
Yeah.
When the original request was made to do the reading of the Declaration of Independence, I kind of just looked at it like, okay, well, this is just, something we're going to do. And it wasn't really until I actually went out and heard it read aloud, and, you're listening more critically because you have people reading it around you and you have your own part to read. I don't think all of us have probably ever really read all the way through the Declaration of Independence, and it's a very moving document. And by her doing that, involving us, you kind of in your head travel back to what were these colonists angry about, and what did they do about it? And it really kind of brought it alive. So I want to thank her for that. I want to thank her for appearing in period costume when it was 90-some degrees out there.
Yes.
I did look for a tricorn hat. They don't sell those very much anymore. But I did actually find one in this at the Henry Ford Museum right now, which is also has on display, I think, for another 5 days. The documents, including the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, copies of all those, not copies, the originals on those documents.
Not the signed one, but
Yeah,
right after
but
those
all
ones.
kept under glass. That was something that I did this weekend, and that was very interesting. And you can get tickets, they're free, actually, to go into that portion of it, so you don't even have to pay the museum admission or parking or anything like that. So that's something people might want to do. Also attended a war reenactment in the Chesterfield Township at one of their parks, where they had reenactors from all of the country's major wars, of Vietnam, Korea, World War II, World War I, and much better than even what I expected. They had a World War I ambulance out there that was really interesting to look at. Someone representing Salvation Army. I love history. I learned a lot of things at that event. I hope maybe we can do something like that in our own city. Also want to thank Mayor Heisen for contacting John about the sidewalks and keeping an eye on how much money the city's spending, because even if we aren't billing residents, we still have to keep an eye on those costs. It's not going to be a free-for-all in terms of cement replacement. So I do appreciate that, Mayor Heisen. And then the rest of what I have, unfortunately, would be for Liz. And that is, this was raised on Facebook, and it's something I was going to send myself because I noticed it. The house on 13 Mile that had the tree fall on it, what was that, like around Christmas? And that is still there. So I know it's insurance, so without even asking, I know the holdup is insurance. Mr. Albright, we need to get those people into court.
I did send, and I don't know if Rich can answer it, he probably put on the spot. I did send an email a couple of weeks ago to Bob Erie, Mr. Erie, to ask him to move this along. And if he was here, I think he could answer it. I don't know if Rich can or not,
Mayor, I'm not familiar with that matter, but I will follow up with Bob tomorrow.
I mean, I should think this really falls under an emergency order of demolition because...
Safety and health and welfare.
Exactly. I couldn't even imagine living next to a home that's been collapsed and open to the elements for 6 months. I mean, that has got to be just rodents and wildlife in that thing.
And school coming.
Yeah, we would be dragging people through the court system by now if, these insurance companies are as awful to deal with as DTE, so we shouldn't hesitate to bring them into court.
We'll make it a priority.
Okay. Qdoba landscape, I raised that before as an issue, and I would just say maybe heard through the grapevine that Qdoba is saying, the hell with that site plan, we're just putting grass down. Sure.
You may approach.
Kind of relevant tonight because we did talk a lot about site plans.
So the landlord is responsible for some of the landscaping, and the way it was explained to me, it was the perimeter, the stuff that actually has been fixed. I don't know if you noticed, some of it had been fixed and some of it hadn't.
Yes.
So the landlord has fixed his part of it, and then I guess the other part is the responsibility, and I say responsibility, right, between the lease, I would suppose, that the landlord has with Qdoba. So it's the responsibility of Qdoba to do, and they're not doing it. So I can absolutely follow up again, obviously, we're still, it's not been resolved.
At this point, if they're not in compliance with their site plan, do we need to bring them into court?
We can absolutely do that, yes.
Because, I don't know if Qdoba thinks that, like, they're such an all-powerful fast food chain that the city won't take them on.
Right.
But if they're not going to live up to their site plan, we spend a lot of time and what we ask for in these site plans. If they're not going to comply with it, they don't just get to decide we're not doing this. Especially if the landlord did it.
Right.
Which, I'm sure he's smaller time than Qdoba.
Oh, yes, he's a local,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's not right at all. We, again, I guess need to get them into court.
Okay, we'll do that.
The car wash on their landscape?
Yes, and they have been extremely responsive and been very good about communicating with us. They're still working on it. They sent out a series of photos, I would say at the end of last week, saying, hey, how'd we do? And I was like, hey, not quite yet. So there's still holes or gaps, and as you were saying earlier, some of it is with the arborvitaes. A lot of them died really quickly, and he was talking about, no dig.
No, I'm referring back to Mr. Vitale and Culver's is what he's probably thinking of, but you may continue.
Oh, I wasn't even in my mind.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, I wasn't rubbing that in or anything like that. But no, I just noticed that, we ask for those for screening, and if they're not alive, they're not doing any good.
Right, and I don't want him to put it back right away if there's a soil issue or if there's a disease issue with that particular species, but that is sort of where they replaced a whole number of them, and they did, like you said, they did different species as what was originally planted, so they have some of the original and some of the new, and I said, okay, get all the same species in one row and get all the same in another row, so, but they're being very receptive, they're definitely doing the best they can.
Okay, and just since we did talk about it, I'll tell anybody that lives on Norcrest, that was about a year ago, I
Yes.
brought up the Lakeshore condo
Yep, so
maintenance area.
from what I can tell, I think that I found the address that the enforcement was on. We did issue them a notice of violation, then for overgrown shrubs into the sidewalk, and then there was just like stuff
A
stored.
lot of it was dead.
Like,
Yeah.
yes. So, from the photos, that was what I could tell, and I'm assuming this was the correct enforcement. And it took a couple of weeks, but then it was cleaned up and trimmed back. And then our inspector went out, I think it was like on a monthly basis, kind of to continue to check for it, and that ended in November, I believe.
Okay.
The checking every
Yeah.
week or month or whatever it was.
Well, everybody should have to know that I only brought that to Liz's attention 2 hours ago before the meeting started, and you've already got an answer for me. So I very much appreciate that. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Liz. Ms. Burgess.
Well, I'm going to say great things about Greta and the great job that she did as well. And it really, really superly touched me. I guess, like Mr. Vitale said, you know, I don't think I've really read it since probably high school, which is 45 years ago. But I was very moved by it, and boy, we were mad at England. But it was a great day, and it was extremely hot, and Greta did a great job, and I really appreciate that we did that. I think our city is so great that we do things like this, and so I just appreciate that. All right, my comments tonight is, I was gonna talk about the social district, but you already mentioned that about Wednesday night, but social district this Saturday is gonna be Miranda and the M80s rock group.
Oh, they're really good.
And yeah, they are very good. And as you know, I love social district, so come on down for a good time. St. Isaac Jogues, we're really wrapping up the things that we're doing for our fall festival. That is going to be September 19th, and we're looking for vendors. We have about probably 6 or 7 vendors already signed up, and we're looking for about 15. So if you're interested in being a vendor, you can give me a phone call. It's 248-767-9961. And we are also going to have a Priest versus Sisters softball game that's going to be happening between 1 and 2 p.m. We've got kid games, exotic animal show, which was really cool last year, extremely cool. We have cornhole tournament. And then at 6 p.m., the Custodians, which is a really young band made up of kids, and they're going to be playing the opener, and then at 7 p.m. live music is going to include the Orbitsons. So come on out, St. Isaac Jogues, again, September 19th. They're going to have great food, great time, and everybody has such a great time at that. Let's see, we already talked about the Stone Blossoms this week at Music on the Lake. Our citywide garage sale, oh boy, have I gotten phone calls on that for the last couple weeks. But that is in full swing of people registering for that. It's going to be August 14th, 15th, and 16th. So check out the Facebook page. The Facebook page to find this is going to be at Cool City Committee, St. Clair Shores. Gives you all the information, and there's a QR code there and everything where you can get more information about the garage sale. But this will be our 3rd year, and it's been fantastic so far. And make sure you get all your stuff ready to get it out there. Last thing we'll talk about is Bike Fest is happening. That's August 22nd from 10 to 2. And the proceeds are going to be benefiting Cops for Kids. It's hosted by the Lock, St. Clair, Kiwanis, and Tim's Bike Shop. $20 registration fee. Helmets are required. This is for adults 18 and up. It's either a 10-mile or a 20-mile. You can pick which one. A leisurely bike riding. They're meeting up at Kennedy Middle School at 10, and it's, like I said, it starts 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And if you have information, if you want more information, you can get a hold of Dawn, who is part of the Kiwanis group, and her phone number is 586-344-9401. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Rebello.
Matt? Okay. You guys are all talking about the
Who is that guy? Why are you laughing? It's a good picture.
Daughters of the American Revolution. And I do know the woman that they were talking about, Greta. and my wife,
I hope so.
she wanted just to pass along that this city handled the whole ceremony. She was very impressed with it. She couldn't believe how much help that she got from our administration, including the mayor, including the Parks and Rec Department, and there were so many to thank. And I want to thank John, because I think John might have sent the original idea to her that this was going on across the entire country at the same time. So she got a lot of help from the city, and she wanted me to thank you guys from the bottom of her heart. So, being the mayor of the town of America's 250th birthday, and also a 75th birthday with the city of St. Clair Shores, Mayor, it's a good time to be mayor. And, and you've done a great job handling the whole thing as the ceremonies go on. So thank you to everybody. I couldn't believe everybody they finally did get seated. And I did not believe it was going to go off like it did, but it was great. And all of us here partaked in it, so she passes that along. I wanted to thank Jason Harms, doing a great job over there. Or not Jason Harms, but Jason at the pool, okay?
That's Jason Harms.
Jason Harms. Yeah, Jason Harms. Yeah,
He's still there.
He's still,
Same last name.
he's doing great. It's in this heat wave that we've experienced. He's keeping us posted on everything. So Jason, thank you very much. Expressways, I want to make a comment. Doing a fantastic job. I have not heard anything. I'm sure there's individual things that go on and so forth, but we made a great call. Mayor made a great call, and it's working. It's working great. So I've not heard anything to the contrary. I also want to thank for the signs on the Little Mac, the SEMSD, acted pretty, not on Little Mac, on Greater Mac, and getting those signs up for people, that means a lot to them. And we've been pretty good with them. So just catching up on everything. Wanted to ask a question about the bocce ball and the senior center and what's going on, what's the timeline?
So I don't know if you guys all know this, but Mystic did not mark Comcast line, so it was hit. And it is where the final post, the northeast corner of the court post, hasn't been able to be put in yet because Comcast needs to move it. And they closed the service ticket, but the work hadn't been done.
So Rob thinks Comcast signed off that the concrete can get poured over the line and it did not need to get moved. So they can still put in the post, but it was for Comcast to agree, because the post wasn't gonna go through the line. It was just gonna be concrete, the concrete base was gonna be on top of it.
Okay.
So that's, according to Rob on Friday,
That
is what he
Friday
said,
then?
yes.
Okay, that was going to be one of my meeting points with him tomorrow. So, okay, good.
Confirm that with them though, but that's what he said Friday.
Okay.
These are the types of questions that almost get you killed on Facebook, okay?
I know,
Like,
I know.
It's just not what people want to hear.
Right,
you know?
and the unfortunate part of
It only takes a
it.
few of them.
Yeah, is that like, this was Comcast, right? Like, we waited, because they closed this ticket without doing any work, and then we were like, what's going on? Why hasn't anyone happened or done anything? And then we had to call them, they're like, oh, we closed it. So then they did an escalated urgent ticket for us, and so, yes, so that's what's going on with it right now.
And if you can make a note and just maybe send something to us on an email, just letting us know when all the contracts are coming up, which contracts are coming up.
Next
through the end of the year. Just
sure.
sort of give us a heads up.
Sure.
If that's not too hard to do.
No, we can
And
do
last thing I wanted to talk about is maybe a not so pleasant topic, but it sort of miffed me on a response I got on Facebook that I read. And I'm not going to name names and everything, but, and John, I know you sent an email, okay, but I want something maybe in writing of how we operate when we buy fire equipment, okay? I'm not saying it's easy, and you got time to do it. It's not on a timetable or anything, but I didn't like a statement that was made on Facebook, and it's regarding union versus non-union purchases, okay? I know it sounds weird.
Okay.
All right? What do we buy, what does the fire department buy? From
Dustin,
from a
would you
union
jump
shop?
in? This isn't Liz's area.
No, I know, you can
He's
sit
not
down.
really-
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm-
I know that, I know that. We have a
You
question
you
to
were
be done.
the only one I was looking at, okay? This is for you, okay? This is for the city
You sent
manager.
the email, and we'd like the
Yeah,
answer.
and I want to know because it rubbed me the wrong way,
Okay.
okay?
We'll get it.
Union prices versus non-union prices, okay?
So we
And
can
I'm not
understand-
advocating for any, either of the two. My dad was a Teamster 299 for his whole life, okay? But I want to know if we have any type of policy, that's all.
So nothing in our current ordinance has any discount or requirement for union, non-union work. We currently go out to bid for all of our purchase items, as you're well aware.
Yes.
And we evaluate the bids and we buy the best item. Also stating that, almost every single one of our large purchase items through the fire department, they also have an entire committee that they put together, an apparatus bay committee.
Okay.
That they put together. They research all of the stuff.
Okay.
And they also make a recommendation based off of each one of those. And sometimes they'll ask council to go with the lowest bidder. Sometimes they'll ask council not to go with the lowest bidder because of X, Y, Z. And that
Okay.
may be, there's more things on this fire squad or more things on this ambulance that they like, but then that's up to council to decide, do you want to go with the lowest bidder or not? So ultimately, it comes from the recommendation from the fire chief, which also comes from a recommendation from those that are on the fire advisory committee, and then is also awarded from council to say yes or no.
One of the questions he
Okay.
had was determine if some of those organizations or companies that make fire equipment are unionized. So
And that's something we can get you that information,
he
but
wants
that's
to know.
something we don't really evaluate when we're looking at this.
And
That's
I-
not what he asked, so he wants to know if it is.
And to make a point, I didn't bring the topic up at all. It was fired off. I'm not telling people what they can write on Facebook and not put, I don't really could care less. I got a lot of other things that I do. But sometimes something rubs you wrong. That's all. And let's go back to something more nice.
I thought he was gonna get a Muskrat Award.
Well, Mayor, I wasn't sure if you wanted one or not because.
He didn't bring one. I didn't think you had it. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I didn't think he had
Here, I
it.
can bring you a clean muskrat at the next meeting.
I got a muskrat, and here he is.
And Dave, if you give it to the mayor over your wife, I am gonna be upset.
Yeah, you probably can't. We'll hold off.
It's a
Good point, right?
Good idea.
All right, Mr. Rell, thank you. Right?
But great picture of you, Mayor, and you
Thank
do a
you.
great job, and the
Thank
whole
you.
thing went off great.
You can still give it to your wife.
No, she's trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to hide this thing.
Ms. Rucci.
Okay, thank you. First, I'll echo thanks to Greta and the Daughters of the American Revolution Detroit chapter for hosting the ceremony. It was a really nice thing to be able to participate in, and I saw some photos of other communities, and we had a nice presentation. We had a lot of participants. We had a live audience. I think obviously doing it preceding the concert helped, but it was nice to see that we really went, I think, above and beyond some of the other ceremonies I saw in terms of just the scope and the presence we had. So thanks for putting on a very respectful, well-attended ceremony. Thank you to Councilman Vitale for bringing up the 13-mile house. I had also emailed Denise looking for a status update and administration on that, and I'll just echo and reiterate some of the concerns that we want to make sure this is moving along. This is, it's been a while, and it's pretty bad. Thank you to Councilman Karen for bringing up some of the sidewalk issues. I've emailed at least one I experienced personally that wasn't marked yet, that I tore open my hand after I fell on it on Murder. So I sent, that's actually in the district too. So I sent you that location. They had repaired the unevenness with some asphalt or something. And now that was a long time ago. And now that's raised, and that's what caught my toe. And I ripped up my hand and my knee on that. And I also did hear from a couple residents who also had some overmarking concerns and undermarking concerns. And even, again, that this isn't being The costs are not being this year or going forward passed on to the residents thanks to the Act 51 money. Is something we need to make sure it's being done consistently with how it had been done the previous year. We want to make sure we're getting the hazardous areas, but not overmarking these issues as well. So I have a couple of other concerns I'll forward. And then finally, just wanted to announce it's one of my favorite events in the city every year, although it's always a little bit sad when it comes up because it kind of means summer's coming to an end. Greek Fest, Assumption Greek Fest on Martyr, August 21st, 22nd, 23rd, it's next month. Friday, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Grand opening at 5. Saturday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday, 12 noon to 7 p.m. Greek food, music, taverna, kids' activities. They always have their grand raffle, which is always really popular with some great prizes. And they're offering, again, not only the food at the food service line, the food's always excellent, but they also have a drive-through and carry-out with phone numbers. If you go to the Facebook page for the Assumption Greek Fest, you'll get the information and the menu and everything and how to order. And you can also order online. Proceeds benefit Assumption Community Programs, Cops for Kids, Focus Detroit, and Cass Community Social Services. So it's a huge fundraiser, and it takes a lot of hands to do this. They're looking for volunteers. There's a sign-up genius. You don't have to be a member of the church to volunteer. I've volunteered since 2020 on the food line, helping to serve. They always put me on lamb shank. I don't eat the lamb, but I do serve it. It always looks fantastic if you like lamb. But I am volunteering that Sunday afternoon as well, helping to serve, and they're looking for a lot of people to help work the food line, help assemble salads, help sell raffle tickets, et cetera, so you have some time to give. It takes a lot of hands to make this community event successful, and there's a sign-up genius right on their Facebook page too that you can check out and fill out if you're so interested, and that's it. Thank you. Hair nets, yes, always hair nets.
Item 13, City Manager Report.
Yeah, I know council is well aware that our new fire chief started 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, he could not be here tonight. He had a couple pre-vacations already scheduled, and this happened to be one of the weeks. But I can tell you he is actually watching because he just sent me a text saying that the generators were pulled from the church on July 3rd, and the Abbott substation is up and running. So, getting information as we speak here.
Excellent, thank you. Item 14 is audience participation. You have a 5-minute time limit. Views, opinions expressed under the audience participation are those of the individual citizen only, do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of the mayor, city council, and the city administration. We'll need your name and the city you reside in, and then you can sign in afterwards. Anyone would like to speak? Yes, sir. We just, Matt will show you where to sign in after Joe you after you speak, but we just name the city you reside in. Who would like to speak next? Anyone else? Yes, sir. If you get in line, would be great. All right.
Joseph Backus, 12120 Yale Street. I actually came here tonight because I want to give you folks a compliment. Okay, now I'm a teacher, and one of my coworkers, he's a social studies teacher, and we're working on a project during summer school and stuff like that, visiting townships and other city council meetings, okay, putting together for a lesson over there. And I picked 6 communities, he picked 6 communities, and we're putting our resources together, okay, because, school starts back up and stuff like that. Anyways, here's the compliment I'm going to give you and tell you why. You folks are the best I have seen. I am serious about that. I have gone to a meeting, and I looked at the person, wanted to know who was talking, and they told me it was the city manager, and I thought that was the custodian. Our city managers always wear suit and ties. You folks are the best professional dressed people I have seen out of 6 communities, and I'm not lying about that at all. You don't sit here and openly argue with each other. I saw that in a township where they were fighting very much, and I was like, and shocked to see that. I mean, the worst I ever saw, Mr. Mayor, here, seriously, that was entertaining, is when Heisen was there, Art Armstrong, and Pat Reaver, and Ted Wabi. Okay?
That's 30 years ago. That's 30 years ago.
Pat and Ted would have some very heated discussions,
yes.
Okay? But that's where they were, discussions. And I remember sometimes Pat would just throw her pen down, look at me and shake her head, and I just smile back at her. But they were heated discussions, not vicious arguments, okay, that type of stuff. And then I saw a couple times is disrespect to the audience. You folks don't do that. You talk to us at the beginning of a meeting. Sometimes you talk to us after the meeting, all the time, okay? You don't sit there and yell at somebody out in the audience. I saw that over the last 6 weeks of people doing that, and I'm sitting there like, what? And, you know, we are televised here. When somebody comes up here to talk on an agenda item, the people at home can see that person, okay? When someone's doing here audience participation, the people at home can see us here and hear us talk, okay? I went to 3 communities, you don't even see the audience, not even for Pledge of Allegiance. It's just the council only. And I had thought that was so disrespectful to the people because you are elected officials, okay? And I saw that in a couple. And the other shock I got on one of them is, when it comes to like a budget item and an agenda item, a zoning item, the city clerk and the treasurer had a voting right. And they had a mayor and the council people, and I'm sitting there, why are they voting? That didn't make sense to me, okay? What I wanted to come here to say is the 6 communities I went to, and I reported to my coworker Rob what I saw, I just simply said that St. Clair Shores, you guys are the best team. When Heisen was mayor, okay, Ted was mayor and stuff like that, I've always saw cooperation. Ron, you've been here for a long time, you know that, okay? The cooperation going there. I just want to say you are the best I have seen, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Joe,
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Your name and the city you reside in.
My name is Vito Sheravino. I reside in St. Clair Shores. I love it. I actually did not know, actually, I do not know this gentleman, and I did not know what he was going to say, but I actually wholeheartedly agree with him, and that's the only reason I'm up here. I had a concern that is being addressed by the city, so I won't even bring it up. I just want to say thank you. In particular, I want to say thank you to Councilman Rubello and Councilman Vitale for their guidance and interest in my concern. And then I wanted to thank the Deputy City Clerk, Amy Kotelniski. Thank you. She assisted me in finding the right path that I needed to process my request. And then for the code enforcement supervisor, Norma Foster, she moved very quickly on my concern, and I really appreciate that. And they are continuing to follow up on it. And I just wanted to thank how everybody works together and made me feel like my concern was almost like the city's only concern, and I really mean that. Everyone was very responsive. And so I just say thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sheravino, are you from, did you go to St. Joan?
I did.
You did?
Who's talking?
Me.
Okay. Yes.
Well, you had a lot of brothers.
I did,
You lived
yes.
in Grosse Pointe.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I remember.
Yes.
I remember your brothers.
I graduated 68 from St. John's.
Yeah, but you had younger brothers.
Yes, I did.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
It's a name from the past.
Hello.
Hello, Mary.
Margaret.
Margaret.
Margaret
Name
Moyer, I
and-
live in St. Clair Shores.
Yes.
A lot of talk in this town about the Facebook article about the swimming pool
Yes.
on 11 and Jefferson. Just wondering how that's working. I'm very familiar with a lot of cities.
Mm-hmm.
You walk in the park, you have to have a pass.
Yes.
Why isn't that done here? And why is it open to these other cities that don't pay taxes here?
Well, I can't answer all of them. I do know that, of course, people are able to bring their friends in, right? So you can have a resident here and buy a pass and bring residents, bring non-residents in. I think some of it saw Roseville come in, right? Roseville has been coming in for 15 years.
Why?
Well, in the past, the pool wasn't used that much, and so they were allowed to come in once a week, their program, on Tuesdays, I believe, for 2 hours. So it's been long-standing that they have been able to come in there. We did take their money years ago because, again, the pool wasn't used as well, and so it's been going on for a long time. But it's not something that's every day. It's once a week, and it's, I believe, 9 to 11, or it's a 2-hour program on Wednesday when they do come in. You'll have non-resident boaters in here who'll bring non-residents in, friends in to use the area, but that's it. We will evaluate it, but that's how actually, I think it started probably seeing a bus load come in from Roseville. I believe that's probably what maybe started it.
Roseville and East Point, I heard.
Well, it's
And
because.
East Point has their own pool.
It's a combined, again, I believe it's a combined system, a recreational authority, so I think that whole group summer program has been doing this now for 15 years, so it's something we can evaluate.
So because they've done it for 15 years, it's going to continue?
I didn't say that. You asked me why, and I gave you,
All
I gave you the answer.
But I mean,
So-
our taxes keep getting raised, our money is paying for that pool. It doesn't seem very fair
Well, at
compared
one-
to other cities, that's what I'm
At
saying.
one point, the attempt was to offset those. As we have put in non-resident people, it used to be residents only for all the boat wells.
Right.
We couldn't get all residents in those wells, and we did non-residents, right, to offset many of those costs because we didn't want to have as much burden for residents. But it's something we can evaluate. I would give you the straight answer. I don't think today is, this year at 6 weeks left in the pool, or that is something we're
No,
going to
it's
do.
just a
But
concern, there's been a lot of talk.
I understand that. I think, and not blaming anybody, I don't think we really understood that, but we could have known that 15 years ago, but it's been going on. And of course, they rove on the hottest day of the year, right? I think that was, or one of the hottest days of the year, where the pool was, probably at capacity, and
All right.
here they come. But yes, that's the broad answer.
Okay, you understand, though, how people feel.
I understand.
Our taxes are getting raised, other people are coming in and using our facilities. Doesn't seem fair. Anyway, that's my point.
Understood.
Thank you. I love
Tried to-
St. Clair Shores, I've lived here
I know.
74 years,
I
so
know.
I'm good.
All right.
Thank you.
Sure. Can you sign in if you don't mind? Anyone else? Yes, sir. Yep, sure. Just a name and the city you reside in.
My name is Bernie Scheinflug.
Yep.
22906 Playview, St. Clair Shores. As you probably all know, on Playview, they're doing major construction over there, going to replace the street. Now they ran into a problem with the gas line. It's up to consumers now, where they say the holdup is. I'd just like to know if anybody, I talked to the mayor just earlier there before the meeting, and he said it's going to be later before anything else is fixed, but right from the start, it's been a cluster over there of everything going wrong, looks like. Right from cutting down the trees, they cut down all the trees from Harper to New York, all except one tree, 2 doors down from me. And I wondered why they left that one.
Okay.
I walked over there after they got down cutting all the trees. I look, it's all rotted on the inside towards the houses. Now, couldn't somebody go over there and look at that? I called the city up, they came out with a arborist, I guess, and he mentioned to somebody to cut it down then, but that took an extra week. When they had all the equipment there, they pulled it all out, brought it all back again. That's just one of the problems. Then they start tearing up the street, the north side of the street. We're putting in storm drains, but then to top it all off, they cover up the storm drains with plastic and then a steel plate on top of it, so the street didn't drain. Big floods there every time it poured, and there's been some big rains coming down.
Yes.
So, does anybody know of what the latest plans are, or think they might finish that, or get back on? I drove past Shady Lane today, and they were repairing that over there, and it looks like they're almost done with the cement over there. Are they going back to our place over there on Playview?
So I can't answer that, but I did ask Mr. Lent, and he can jump in. I think this would be, you can jump in.
Yeah.
I think this is appropriate, that what we should do for Playview. And
So we'll be reaching out to our engineers to get with all the residents in the Playview area, have a kind of a town hall so the residents are informed, just the process. And I will tell you right now as well, we're at the mercy of consumers. We started ripping up the road. It was on our road replacement. We were going to redo everything. At that time, the consumer line was kind of right underneath the road. Consumers then informed us, hey, we're going to have to do this project, and we're relocating and moving that and changing that line. Our options right now then would be, do we just replace the roads as intended? Then consumers are going to come out, tear the entire road back up again, and then everybody's gonna say, why do we waste tax dollars putting a road in to be ripped out and then be put back in again? So what we decided to do, working with consumers, is we put a temporary patch right now because consumers isn't gonna just jump on it because we're saying, hey, you gotta go now. Now, we're working on them to expedite that process, but they have to, that entire line, they have work to do. We are at the mercy of when they can get in and get that replaced. As soon as they're able to get that line replaced and done, then we will come right back in, follow behind them. We'll put the road in so we don't have to worry about redoing it twice. We are working with consumers, trying to find out the deadline so we can get that job done. We will relay that information to all the residents. Like I said, we really don't have answers that we really can truly give you of concrete of, hey, this is when we're gonna get back in. It's not slowed down because we're doing other projects or any other roads. It's slowed down because of the issue of running to consumers. What you mentioned about the catch basins, that is a silt sack. That is to prevent all the material and the silt to go into the drain and then clog the drains and create an issue. It is required for any road project, and because it's an open road site, that is why those are in there. Those will maintain in there during the entire project. Hopefully, the reason, like I said, is we're still waiting on consumers. I will have as much information as we can. I can tell you our staff is working with them diligently. Our engineering firm is working with them diligently. And as soon as we have information, we will be trying to set up a town hall meeting to inform all of the residents. I know notifications went out as well, but we will try to even do better of having it in person, because even though the letters, there's a lot that you're trying to read and understand, and then some people just don't read their mail. So we do want to try to have that meeting as well. So we'll try to do a notice and a walk by of knocking on doors and letting people know.
Create this town hall.
Do you know why they left all the stump grindings for so long there? They got piles this high over there. Some of it is cleaned up, but other ones, and all that with these storms, that washes down, that causes the flooding over there.
Okay.
Why wasn't that removed right away?
And we will look at it. I will get over there and look at it.
Right in front of my house, they dumped the crushed gravel over there. They used some of it, to fill up the driveways again when they resurfaced everything now. But I still got plenty on the front grass between the street and the sidewalk there. I can't even cut the grass there.
We'll look at it.
We'll get with them.
And we'll go with the town hall to get more information, so you have better information.
Well, I get these letters. I've got 3 letters so far from what the progress is or what they're going to do. But I haven't got anything in a month and a half, and I don't see anything going on now.
Yeah, well, we're waiting for consumers' energy, so it won't be a lot. But we will get a letter out to the residents to have this town hall.
Well, keep on them.
Yes, sir.
We are.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Everybody, I just wanted to let everyone know.
Your name?
My name is Michael. I reside in St. Clair Shores.
Yes.
I want to let everyone know about my mother. She passed away on June 13th. She lived in this city for approximately 70 years or so. Her name was Jane Franco. I lived in this city since 1987. I just want to let everyone know that she died of brain and blood cancer, and she died at Aptalis Sterling Heights. And just to let kind of everyone know who my mom was in a lot of ways, she loved the city a lot. She took me to the fireworks a few times. I participated in the parades 7 years straight. She also loved her gardening. She loved music. She played piano. When she was very young, she also was an avid dancer in Hamtramck early on in her life. And she will have a bench named in her honor in the park back here. So
great.
That's all. Thank you. And Ron, I know I've called you before about this, and my street, Alexander, looks a lot better from the water main project. You guys took care of that very well. Thank you. And Mr. Karen, your father cut my hair when I was a kid. So my mother will be missed in a lot of ways. So that's all.
Sorry for your loss.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. Sure. Your name and the city you reside in.
Mark Dreger, St. Clair Shores, Glenbrook. And what I'm going to do is we're going to start right from the beginning, the first day that I came in here, talking about all the rentals. Right now, what I got going on next door to me is 6 people now living in the house. First it was 2, then it was 3, then it was 2, then it was 1, and now it's 6. They all back up so you can't run the plates. So that tells you they got something that they're hiding. So nothing's getting done, so I figured I'd start with that. So also, the whole reason why I came in here was because of Miss Rusty. How are you? So, Miss Rusty, you do a lot of good for this city. You're a well-polished woman, but you got an alter ego on that Facebook. You become Miss Rusty a little bit.
Sir, will you just address the chair? We're just as you talk, okay?
Well, no, what are you, this ain't Russia. Okay, all right. Anyways, the reason why I'm saying that is about 3 years ago, I complained about you guys using snail mail to let us know if we have a water leak. And you kind of got rusty with it. So other than that, you do a good job. Maybe you can be a little nicer on the Facebook. That's it. Rebello, I like you. You're a good guy. I see you all around the city. I see you talking to people smiling. I'm bummed out I missed the last thing because of the smoke. I didn't want to go up there. It was too smoky. Never heard nothing bad about you.
Good.
Yeah, I know you're new, everything. So as far as, is he our attorney? I can't ask questions. Another thing I have an issue with is code enforcement.
Okay.
That lady, Norma, is my hero.
All right.
She's the only person that's doing anything. And that little white-haired guy from Lakeview, I can't stand, or South Lake, because he's from there, you know what I mean? But we both talk to each other, and we work together. So I come up with a great idea for Norma. Why don't you have a drone? Why don't you have a drone? And they told me, the city attorney said, it would be an invasion of privacy to use a drone. And I don't see how that can be. So maybe we can start looking into that. Maybe we can get Norma to have, what do you mean, no? There you go. You're the one. Because you got rid of houses. That's why you're like that.
Okay, we're not going to get into debate. We're not going to get into debate. We're not going to get into debate.
Okay.
It's your opportunity to speak.
Right.
Yes,
And
sir.
then, well, he's going to shake his head no to me. I'm going to respond. So I'm telling you, I'm tired of the rentals in this city. And if I find out you own it, I'm going to give you a heck of a
Well, let's
time.
you and I talk.
Okay,
Okay, good.
Mr. Vitale, could you?
No, that's good.
No, it's not good. It's your chance, and that's it.
Okay,
Please.
so anyways, we're going to get down to that. I want to get down to not using the snail mail when we have some issue with the water. I had a toilet that was running. I caught it right away. 5 days later, I got a letter in the mail that it was running. That's what got me fired up. And then I said it to Miss Rusty. I had some guy in California yelling at me, probably your brother or something, I don't know. And that got me fired up. So I waited till I retired to come in here. And so here I am.
Okay.
And I get nervous talking, but I don't care. I'm going to say what's on my mind, and I'm going to go enjoy myself Wednesday because the Groove Council rocks.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
If you just sign in, and
Oh, yeah.
it is Ms. Rusi, by the way.
You know what I noticed when I signed this? I start getting more political mail.
Anyone else?
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay. I just go back to the mayor's comments. I'll be quick. I want to piggyback because I want to thank Dave's wife, Greta Rebella, for doing it. But I also wanted to make a comment that the Declaration of Independence, what people don't realize over the 250 years is that the ideas that were written by Thomas Jefferson and 5 members, although he gets all the credit, amended somewhat by Benjamin Franklin, but has been borrowed ideas by 100 countries. So the Declaration of Independence is what we believe is a revolution in America, but 100 countries since 1776 have borrowed ideas, used those ideas to change the society that they lived in. So it is a document just not for America. It is a revolution that they created. And many people say, right, all men are created equal. Changed the entire world as it went. It started there. Many changes had to come after that, but it was the start of a revolution. So it's more than just what happened here in America. So I couldn't help myself because it's history. I like history. So with that, we will go into closed session, which is permitted by state statute, MCLA 15.268, Section 8C.
Move to go in closed session.
Support.
Moved by Mr. Karen before we do the roll call, and supported by Ms. Rusi. Now we need a roll call. Abby?
Councilmember Karen?
Aye.
Councilmember Rusi?
Aye.
Councilmember Burgess?
Aye.
Councilmember Frederick?
Aye.
Councilmember Rubello?
Aye.
Councilmember Vitale?
Aye.
Mayor Walby?
Aye. Good night.